Chapter 51, Come Hit Me. The Virtual Universe Corporation's work efficiency was very fast, and they immediately investigated Nuolan Shan's information clearly. A universe-rank giant axe warrior, a one-leaf Ganwu practitioner of the Ganwu dojo. His disciple Luo Feng had just achieved the rank of number 1 in the entire universe in the genius battle. In daily combat, he had never revealed the origin laws of time and space, only displaying the law of gold. The Ganwu country lord specially bestowed the title of Holy Mentor upon him, specially recruiting him to teach in the Ganwu secret realm. Open black lens bracket. Remember this site's domain name, read Taiwan novels on Taiwan Novel Network, twcon.com, super smooth close black lens bracket. He knows how to hide his brilliance, his teaching level is superb, and his attainments in cultivating both time and space are not low. He is qualified to become my named disciple. Contact him, and have Gui Yi bring him to see me. The primordial Chaos City Lord was very satisfied with Nuolan Shan and decided to take him as a named disciple. The primordial Chaos City Lord was the most fair and just among the universe lords, so even though he liked Nuolan Shan very much, he did not directly take him as a personal disciple, but instead started him as a named disciple to nurture and observe him at the same time. Yes, Master. The primordial Chaos City Lord's intelligent life form immediately called Nuolan Shan. Master is calling. Master is calling. However, at this very moment, Nuolan Shan had just arrived at the Ganwu country lord's palace. Sitting opposite him was the towering Ganwu country lord. How could he have the time to answer the phone? Not only did Nuolan Shan not answer, but he also split off a bit of consciousness to hang up the phone. Beep, beep, beep. On the primordial Chaos City Lord's end, he heard the harsh and unfamiliar sound of a hung-up call. How many years has it been? How many years? Ever since his teacher was sealed, no one had ever dared to hang up on him. Lines of frustration appeared on the primordial Chaos City Lord's forehead, and a violent aura emanated from him, causing the entire City Lord's manner to tremble. Master, please calm down. He might just not answer calls from unknown numbers, the primordial Chaos City Lord's intelligent lifeform consoled him. Never mind, send him a message then. The primordial Chaos City Lord also came to his senses. How could a little guy at the universe rank recognize him? Yes, Master. The primordial Chaos City Lord's intelligent life form immediately went to work, composing an email to send to Nuolan Shan. The general meaning was, the great primordial Chaos City Lord wants to take you as a named disciple. Are you willing? If so, someone will be sent to pick you up. Worried that Nuolan Shan might not know who the primordial Chaos City Lord was, it also specifically introduced his strength and status within the human race. Nuolan Shan, are you willing to take me as your teacher? The Ganwu country lord asked with a smile, sitting upon his divine throne. I am willing. Disciple Nuolan Shan pays respects to teacher. Nuolan Shan excitedly kowtowed to the Ganwu country lord. Only a fool would refuse the Ganwu country lord's offer of discipleship. Although the Ganwu country lord was the universe's most indebted person, and had died several times, his strength was beyond doubt. Even without any supreme treasures, his strength was firmly within the ranks of high-level universe exalts. With his guidance and care, Nuolan Shan's future cultivation would surely advance by leaps and bounds. In Nuolan Shan's original plan, after joining the Ganwu secret realm, it would be enough if he could take an undying as a teacher like Luo Feng, and then later seek out a stronger universe exalt or universe lord. Now that a universe exalt was taking him as a disciple right from the start, Nuolan Shan naturally accepted with pleasure. Ha ha ha. Come, this is a meeting gift from your teacher. The Ganwu country lord laughed heartily and took out a heavy treasure, a pair of gold and cyan combat boots, the Wind Thunder boots. As the name suggested, wearing these combat boots would grant speed like wind and thunder, increasing the success rate of escaping. The Ganwu country lord seemed to have been traumatized by his deaths, subtly teaching his disciple to grease his soles and slip away when things looked bad. Teacher, this heavy treasure. It's fine. Although your teacher isn't wealthy, after accumulating for all these years, I can still manage to bestow 1 or 2 heavy treasures upon a disciple. The Ganwu country lord thought Nuolan Shan felt the Wind Thunder boots were too precious and was embarrassed to accept them. In fact, what Nuolan Shan wanted to say was, he had seen this heavy treasure in the internal point mall of the Ganwu Dojo. It was one of only 2 heavy treasures available. A sliver of Nuolan Shan's consciousness entered the Ganwu Dojo point mall. Sure enough, the Wind Thunder boots could no longer be seen in the heavy treasure column on the front page, leaving only a single heavy treasure battle saber. For a moment, Nuolan Shan didn't know what to say. You could say this teacher wasn't good, yet he was willing to give you one of his only 2 heavy treasures. But you could also say he was good, yet he was so poor it was practically an embarrassment to Universe Exalts. After all, at the rate Nuolan Shan's assets were growing, he could buy his own heavy treasures in a few years. Thank you for the treasure, teacher. However, since the Ganwu country lord had said so, Nuolan Shan naturally wouldn't be overly polite with him. At worst, he could repay him in the future. All right, next, let me see to what extent you have comprehended the laws. Your clearing of the time-space tower was the limit of the tower, not your limit, the Ganwu country lord stated. Teacher, should I only use the laws of time and space? Nuolan Shan asked. Naturally. There are no restrictions, use whatever you wish. Don't worry about hurting me, and my divine hull is very stable. No matter how much you toss about, it's fine, the Ganwu country lord laughed. Teacher, please excuse my presumption. Nuolan Shan bowed and took out the cosmic divine weapon from his world ring. Seeing this divine weapon, the Ganwu country lord fell into ancient memories. The outside world might not know, but as an ancient universe exalt, he had personally witnessed the birth of the cosmic divine weapon. The one who created this strongest divine weapon for controllers was none other than the brilliantly talented primordial Chaos City Lord, who cultivated both time and space. The primordial Chaos City Lord's peerlessness back then was such that his contemporaries could hardly see his back, which was incredibly despairing, but it was also the fortune of the human race. Cosmic Divine Weapon, 6th Form, Open. Facing his teacher, the great Ganwu country lord, Nuolan Shan would naturally not be so foolish as to hide his brilliance. Thus, he went all out from the start, directly activating the 6th form of the Cosmic Divine Weapon. One must know that the 5th form was already enough to clear the time-space tower. As the 6th form opened, the entire Grand Hall seemed to be enveloped in an ocean of axes. Every drop of seawater was a powerfully destructive axe strike, and those axes washed towards the Ganwu country lord continuously and without end. Oh ho, quite interesting. The 6th form of the Cosmic Divine Weapon is fully capable of passing the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Your talent is even higher than Luo Feng's, though you are older than him after all. The Ganwu country lord sat steadily on his divine throne, critiquing Nuolan Shan's move. Nuolan Shan suddenly felt a sense of déjà vu. It was like a father with a small child, where the child uses his weak little fists to pummel the father, and the father says with a smile, "Oh, you've got quite some strength there." The Ganwu country lord was that father, and Nuolan Shan was the child being played with. Look at this move. Although Nuolan Shan knew it was impossible for him to hurt the Ganwu country lord, he couldn't accept being toyed with like a child in his heart. He was seen condensing a massive fireball using the law of fire. Oh, true sun fire. I didn't expect you to have such extraordinary talent in the law of fire as well, the Ganwu country lord said in surprise. Although in terms of raw attack power, the law of fire was slightly inferior to the law of gold, in terms of destructive power, the law of gold was far inferior to the law of fire. Because a single spark can start a prairie fire. ZZZZT, ZZZZT. Purple electric arcs appeared on the surface of the fireball. Nuolan Shan had integrated the law of lightning into this fireball. Law of lightning. The Ganwu country lord's expression became solemn. Nuolan Shan had already displayed 4 types of laws, he wondered if there were others. Chapter 52, Bound by Duty to the Race. Expand. Nuolan Shan shouted. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew, aiding the flames, and the fireball abruptly grew in size. The law of wind. You truly continue to surprise me, the Ganwu country lord couldn't help but praise. Go. The fireball hurtled toward the Ganwu country lord. The Ganwu country lord felt a hint of disappointment. He had thought Nuolan Shan could integrate even more laws. Explode. The fireball collided with the Gamu country lord's defense, erupting in a blinding white light that shone out of the palace, illuminating the entire mountaintop countless times over. Even the Gamu country lord, struck by this sudden, intense light, couldn't help but blink. And in the moment he blinked, Nuolan Shan swung his axe at the Gamu country lord. That strike was heavy and sharp, as if possessing the power to split the heavens. It was none other than the third style of the 9 styles of heaven opening. Crack. A crack appeared in the defense the Gamu country lord had casually set up. One must know that without the strength of a world lord rank, it was absolutely impossible to break through this defensive barrier. This combined attack of Nuolan Shan's was comparable to a world lord. Take another strike. Nuolan Shan pressed his advantage, using the last of his strength to swing a second time. Away with you. However, the Gamu country lord wouldn't have it. With a flick of his finger, bang, he gave Nuolan Shan a flick on the forehead, sending him flying. Ouch, ouch. Nuolan Shan clutched his head, crying out in pain. Hey, my good disciple, are you all right? My apologies, I didn't control my strength well. It's truly been a long time since I've fought someone at the universe rank. The Gamu country lord hurriedly comforted him. The scene looked very much like a father coaxing a child he had made cry. What could Nuolan Shan do? He couldn't beat the man, and he relied on him for his livelihood. He could only adjust his own mindset, endure the sharp pain, and say with a smile, Master, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's good, that's good. This is Loch Divine Water. Take it to recover. The Gamu country lord felt bad and took out a gourd of Loch Divine Water for Nuolan Shan. Thank you, Master. Nuolan Shan took the gourd and scanned it with his spirit force, finding that although it was just a gourd, it actually contained a pool's worth inside. As expected of a country lord, the candy given to comfort a child was worth billions of Hunyuan units. I didn't expect you to have also comprehended the law of light and the law of gold. Do you know wood, earth, or water? The Gamu country lord asked. Master, don't you think I'm spreading myself too thin? Nuolan Shan asked curiously. He remembered that in the original story, those great beings felt Bolan's simultaneous cultivation of time and space was overly ambitious and that he should focus his energy on specializing in one. Only mediocre talents and fools make choices. With your natural talent, you naturally want it all. Quickly tell me, do you know wood, earth, or water? The Gamu country lord asked excitedly, the look of anticipation in his eyes impossible to hide. Not yet. Nuolan Shan shook his head. Not yet, means you haven't tried. The Gamu country lord immediately caught the key point in Nuolan Shan's words. Nuolan Shan shook his head honestly. Not yet. As long as I take in disciples, it will definitely work. It's possible, it's definitely possible. Those are just lower laws of the law of time and law of space. You can definitely do it. It was unclear whether the Gamu country lord was saying this for Nuolan Shan to hear or for himself. Every law has 108 essences. I just saw that you've comprehended 40 essences each of the law of fire, law of time, and law of space, 27 for the law of gold, and only 23 essences for the law of light, law of wind, and law of thunder. So, do you have any other hidden trump cards? The Gamu country lord asked. Only with a comprehensive understanding of his disciple could he formulate a corresponding training plan. Besides that, I also have a clone talent. I can nurture a clone at the astral rank, universe rank, and world lord rank. Nuolan Shan hid nothing about his clone talent. A master-disciple relationship in the universe was more reliable than that of father and son, and this would also explain why he was so heaven-defying. Clones. Ha ha ha. No wonder, no wonder. Hearing Nuolan Shan say he had a clone talent, the Gamu country lord was both happy and relieved. The reason the primordial Chaos City Lord was so strong was partly due to his clone talent. How many clones have you nurtured now? The Gamu country lord asked. He was a bit nervous, fearing Nuolan Shan had wasted this precious talent. After all, what kind of good clone materials could a universe rank obtain? Currently, I've only nurtured one clone, which enhances my comprehension of the law of fire and the law of time. Nuolan Shan didn't mention the name of the three-legged golden crow, as he couldn't explain its origin. Good, one is fine, one is fine. Keep your universe rank slot for now. I'll go check with my friends to see if there are any suitable materials. In this world ring, there are some cultivation resources I've prepared for you, take them for now. You haven't comprehended the 3 laws of wood, water, and earth yet. I've also given you some analytical books related to them. Use them as a reference. With your talent, you can definitely get started quickly. Thank you, Master. Nuolan Shan was sincerely grateful. This was the benefit of being a favored disciple. The Master would shower you with benefits and consider your needs in every way. No wonder Luo Feng was so moved back then. Awesome. If one is to take a master, it should be someone like Ganwu. What primordial chaos city lord? When Luo Feng became his disciple, he only gave him sessions to contemplate the chaos monument. Stay in the side palace for now. I will summon you once I've prepared the materials, said the Ganwu country lord. Yes, master. Nuolan Shan withdrew from the palace. An undying naturally arranged for his subsequent accommodation, meals, and guards, but those are aside for now. After Nuolan Shan left, the Ganwu country lord immediately started a multi-party video call with 10 people in total, including himself. Ganwu, you're not going on another adventure, are you? I have no more treasures to lend you. The person in the video spoke and even made a show of covering their world ring. Ha ha ha. The others couldn't help but laugh at the sight. Those who could tease the Ganwu country lord were naturally also universe exalts, and they were all incredibly ancient. Among them were the Yuanshan universe country lord and the Gulan universe country lord, the 2 ancient beings who fought to be Rong Jun's master in the original story. Stop joking around, I have serious business with you. The Ganwu country lord's face grew a bit stiff. Unless necessary, he really didn't want to see these creditors. Hearing that the Ganwu country lord had serious business, the group of universe exalts sat up straight and listened intently to what he had to say next. The Ganwu country lord said, I just took a disciple today. He has a clone talent, so I wanted to ask everyone if you have any good materials. Clone talent. Ganwu, you've struck gold. If only this were my disciple. The universe exalts sighed repeatedly with deep regret. Why hadn't such a genius appeared in their own universe countries? Well, do you want a disciple? The Ganwu country lord suddenly had a bold idea. Ganwu, what do you mean? You want to share a disciple? Ho ho ho, 10 universe country lords as masters. That's unprecedented. My disciple, Nuolan Shan, not only cleared the space-time tower but also cleared the 4 trial towers of wind, thunder, light, and fire in succession, the Ganwu country lord said solemnly. Whoosh. Even for universe country lords, hearing the Ganwu country lord say this left them shocked. Those were trial towers, places meant to test the degree of law comprehension. Clearing them meant one's law comprehension was already extraordinary. What is the degree of his comprehension of the wood, water, and earth origin laws? An exalt asked urgently. His exact words were that he hasn't tried, but it's certain there won't be any problems, the Ganwu country lord said confidently. You want to replicate that one's achievements, to restore the glory of our human race, and even unify the primordial universe, the Yuanshan country lord spoke on behalf of the group. Exactly. If that one were still here, our human race would have unified the primordial universe long ago. There wouldn't be any outside territory battlefield. In Nuolan Shan, I see hope. The Ganwu country lord's eyes shone with light. Such a prodigy, are you truly willing to share? It is precisely because I am his master that I hope he receives the best cultivation. If he can simultaneously take you all as masters, it would be best for him. So, are you willing? The Ganwu country lord asked. For the race, we are bound by duty, the 9 universe country lords stated simultaneously. It's just, can he really reach that level? Some universe country lords expressed concern. After all, that one's achievements were simply too high. Even as universe exalts, they felt those heights were unreachable. How will we know if we don't try? If you have time, come to my Ganwu secret realm. A genius like this cannot be nurtured by me alone. Remember to bring clone materials, said the Ganwu country lord. Fine, I will finish up my business as quickly as possible. The call ended, and Nuolan Shan began to check the emails he had received. Just from clearing the trial towers and visiting the main hall once, Nuolan Shan had received 102 emails. 100 of them were from Thunder God. Master, I've become a giant axe warrior. Master, you're not keeping your word. You promised to help me reach the universe rank. Master, how could you abandon me? Most were complaints, and the last few were even starting to curse. Despite Nuolan Shan's advanced age, he felt he had wronged Thunder God. Nuolan Shan had truly forgotten about this disciple. After sending Thunder God to the giant axe life-death battle after no more attention, he hadn't expected that at the very moment he went to the Ganwu secret realm, Thunder God would successfully earn the title of Giant Axe Warrior and return to the Chulong Star Ganwu dojo. Thunder God had originally wanted to surprise his master, Nuolan Shan, but was told that Nuolan Shan had been promoted and left for the Ganwu secret realm. To Thunder God, this was no different from being abandoned. Nuolan Shan had become the bad father who discarded his child. I originally intended to bring you over once I had settled in the secret realm. Since you miss me so much, fly over in your own spaceship. You should encounter some small surprises along the way. Nuolan Shan replied with an email, his heart steady and face unblushing. Ah, it's so far. Heavens. Thunder God's world collapsed because he checked the navigation. At his ship's speed, it would take 10 years of flight to reach the Ganwu secret realm. Nuolan Shan clicked on the email from the Black Dragon Mountain Empire's official authorities. After reading it, he couldn't help but smile. That was certainly fast. The content of the email was roughly, Hagrev of the Imperial Martial Group had embezzled military funds, his crimes were heinous, and he was to be beheaded in public. There was even an attached video of Hagrev's execution. It had to be said, having status and position was wonderful. Many things didn't need to be said, someone would handle them for you, and without any lingering issues, reasonable, fair, and legal. This last one is. Nuolan Shan opened the last email, which was the one the primordial Chaos City Lord had sent via an intelligent life form. Chapter 53, Preparing to Accept Disciples. Nuolan Shan clicked on the email and saw that it was clearly stated that the primordial Chaos City Lord intended to take him as a disciple. This made Nuolan Shan feel very conflicted. Reasonably speaking, if a universe country lord wanted to take him as a disciple, he would never hesitate. But the most frustrating part was that he had just acknowledged the Ganwu country lord as his master. Now that a more powerful teacher had appeared, was he supposed to just abandon the Ganwu country lord? He couldn't do that, the heavy treasure bestowed upon him hadn't even warmed up in his hands yet. After thinking it over repeatedly, Nuolan Shan replied truthfully, Respected Primordial Chaos City Lord, I am extremely sorry. Just half an hour ago, I acknowledged the Ganwu country lord as my master. I am very grateful for your kindness, and it is a great honor for Nuolan Shan to be valued by you. After writing it, Nuolan Shan even had his AI, Afu, polish the draft for him to avoid any improper phrasing. He also wanted to make it sound more apologetic and regretful. In any case, he simply could not let the primordial Chaos City Lord get angry. The primordial Chaos City Lord soon received Nuolan Shan's reply. He glanced at it and said, To think Ganwu beat me to it. Oh well, it seems I can only wait a bit longer. The primordial Chaos City Lord had no intention of fighting the Ganwu country lord for a disciple. After all, technically the Ganwu country lord was his subordinate. It wouldn't look good for a leader to steal a subordinate's disciple, not to mention that he, the primordial Chaos City Lord, was famous for being fair and just. Thus, Nuolan Shan received a brief reply from the primordial Chaos City Lord, consisting of just 2 words, never mind. Phew, Nuolan Shan let out a long sigh of relief. It was good that the primordial Chaos City Lord wasn't angry. If a great existence like that were to get angry, let alone a mere Nuolan Shan, even the Ganwu country lord wouldn't be able to withstand it. After replying to the email, Nuolan Shan checked his points. He didn't count the small change from his years stationed on Chulong Star. Since Luo Feng took first place in the Genius Battle, Nuolan Shan, as his teacher, was rewarded 100 billion points by the Ganwu Dojo. Adding to that the 1 trillion points rewarded for clearing 5 trial towers in a row, his total points had reached an astronomical figure. This allowed Nuolan Shan to comfortably purchase items from the Point Mall. After a round of frantic spending, Nuolan Shan began to wander around. After all, he would be making his home here in the future, so he needed to familiarize himself with it beforehand. The Gamu country lord placed great importance on Nuolan Shan, dispatching a full 2 Undyings, 20 world lords, and 500 domain lords to protect him. The Undyings were none other than 13 and the 4th Divine General. Among the 20 world lords was Jin Kei, and among the 500 domain lords was Obu. As for the universe rank, there wasn't a single one. After all, Nuolan Shan was invincible at the universe rank, so who would be protecting whom? This level of security was unprecedented, maxed out to the limit. Such an order from the Gamu country lord wasn't strange at all. One should know that the security configuration the Virtual Universe Corporation arranged for the first-place genius of the Genius Battle was already 1 Immortal Army Lord as Captain, 10 World Lords recognized by the laws, 100 Domain Lords, plus 1,000 Universe ranks. But Nuolan Shan's talent and strength were far beyond those of a Genius Battle winner, and he was the precious disciple the Gamu country lord had dreamed of. Naturally, the Gamu country lord wanted to max out his security level. With Nuolan Shan's security level, as long as he didn't provoke a champion Undying, he could walk anywhere with his head held high. Even if he did provoke a champion Undying, the 2 marquee-level guards could buy Nuolan Shan time to escape. Even if I, the Gamu country lord, don't have much money, I have lived long enough and have plenty of people under me. Your Highness. As Nuolan Shan walked out of his room, Jin Kei and Obu hurriedly bowed. The two of them had no complaints about being assigned as Nuolan Shan's guards. In fact, they were ecstatic because this meant they could reside permanently in the Gamu secret realm. One should know that the speed of comprehending laws in the ordinary areas of the Gamu secret realm was already double that of the outside world. If one lived at the peak of the Divine Mountain, the law comprehension speed could increase by a full 3 times. This was of great benefit to Jin Kei and Obu's cultivation. Moreover, their salaries would increase significantly, allowing them to earn a large amount of points every year. It could be said that their investment had paid off handsomely, making their past confrontations with Hagrev and the Black Dragon Mountain Godlord worthwhile. You two have worked hard. I'm just wandering around, you don't need to be so formal, Nuolan Shan said with a smile. Protecting you is our duty, Your Highness. Jin Kei and Obu stood at attention, not daring to commit the slightest impropriety. All right, you two step down. I will summon you if I need anything. The 4th Divine General waved his hand, dismissing Jin Kei and Obu. Yes, Lord 4th Divine General. Jin Kei and Obu took their leave. They also knew that the task of close-range protection wouldn't fall to them yet. The reason they could meet Nuolan Shan was simply because they were his acquaintances, a favor granted to Nuolan Shan. It had to be said that the 13th Divine General was better at handling social relations. Seeing Nuolan Shan being accepted as a disciple by the Gamu country lord, he immediately used kingdom teleportation to bring Jin Kei and Obu to the Gamu secret realm. Sure enough, the Gamu country lord followed up with an order to select personnel for a guard unit to protect Nuolan Shan. The 13th Divine General used his authority for personal gain, enrolling his 2 subordinates, Jin Kei and Obu, into the guard unit. 13. When it comes to social maneuvering, you really take the cake. The 4th Divine General looked at the receding figures of Jin Kei and Obu and mocked the 13th Divine General. His personality was like this, straightforward and as fierce as fire, with no patience for such schemes. Especially since he was still angry with the 13th Divine General. If it weren't for his interference, Nuolan Shan would have been his disciple. Does Your Highness wish to look around? I will lead the way for you. The 13th Divine General didn't bother responding to the 4th Divine General and instead stepped forward to guide Nuolan Shan. Although this was a side palace, its area was no smaller than a province. Inside, there were mountains and lakes, deserts and grasslands, oases and plains, whatever terrain one wanted was there. In such a vast area, there were naturally not just guards, but also tens of thousands of servants handling the trivial matters of the side palace. Even the weakest among them had to be at the universe rank. One should know that besides the Ganwu country lord, even undyings could only live at the foot of the divine mountain. Generally speaking, these side palaces were residences used by the Ganwu country lord to host his universe exalt friends, so the strength of the servants could not be too low. While wandering, Nuolan Shan split off a portion of his consciousness to enter the Ganwu space within the virtual universe. The Ganwu country lord wanted Nuolan Shan to try and comprehend the three laws of wood, earth, and water. His own comprehension efficiency was so slow, since he had come to the Ganwu secret realm, he had to hurry up and take a few more disciples. He still had 3 slots for accepting disciples anyway. The Ganwu space was a virtual space specifically opened by the Virtual Universe Corporation for the Ganwu Dojo headquarters. Upon entering, one was no longer at the basic warlord strength level, but a 100% simulation of their real-world strength. Although the Ganwu space was called a space, it felt like a vast starry sky, divided into many large and small regions. Because Nuolan Shan had not purchased property there, he appeared on the street upon entering the Ganwu space. Compared to the Ganwu secret realm in reality, the Ganwu space in the virtual universe was much more lively. People were coming and going on the streets, rubbing shoulders in a crowded throng. After all, over the eons, although the Ganwu secret realm only took in geniuses, those geniuses who moved on from the realm still retained their authority to enter the Ganwu space. To be honest, since his conflict with Hagrev, he had been holed up in the Ganwu dojo on Chulong Star. It had really been a long, long time since he had strolled through the streets. With his interest piqued, he took a leisurely pace, hands behind his back, and began to wander slowly. Teacher Nuolan Shan. A surprised voice reached Nuolan Shan's ears. Nuolan Shan looked toward the sound but couldn't help but frown, because he didn't recognize the person. Chapter 54, Luo Feng's little brother. Nuolan Shan looked toward the voice, only to see a 3-meter-tall, honest-looking, 4-armed Cyclops youth walking quickly toward him. Do we know each other? Nuolan Shan had a very good memory, and he didn't recall ever seeing this youth. Teacher, my name is Magic Hammer. Luo Feng is my sworn big brother, so his teacher is naturally my teacher as well, Magic Hammer said with a smile. Oh, I see. Nuolan Shan remembered that in the original work, this person was quite a figure in the genius battle. He was from the Angia Luo clan, a high-level human bloodline, and was naturally close to the origin law of Earth. Magic Hammer said happily, I didn't expect to meet you here. To be honest, after hearing about you from Big Brother Luo, I kept thinking about going to Chulong Star to take you as my teacher. But later I heard you were gone, and I was quite sad. Nuolan Shan's mouth twitched as he said, Magic Hammer, has anyone ever told you that you have a very unpleasant way of speaking? What did he mean by, gone, and what did he mean by, quite sad? It made it sound like he was dead. Hearing it was truly uncomfortable. Yes, my parents both say that about me, but I don't see any problem with it. Teacher, what did I say wrong just now? Magic Hammer scratched his head and asked. Nothing, you were very accurate. Nuolan Shan didn't want to waste his breath arguing with this simpleton, so he just let it go. Teacher, this is your first time in Ganwu space, right? How about I show you around? Magic Hammer took the initiative to offer Nuolan Shan a tour. Nuolan Shan thought about it. Ganwu space was indeed too large, and it would be inconvenient without a guide, so he nodded and said, then I'll trouble you, Magic Hammer. It's a small matter, Magic Hammer laughed. Magic Hammer began to lead the way. However, his body was massive, and he walked with long, confident strides. One of his steps was equal to 3 of Nuolan Shan's, and a large distance quickly opened up between the two. Teacher, why are you walking so slowly? Magic Hammer turned back and asked Nuolan Shan curiously. Nuolan Shan didn't want to speak. Oh, sorry, I forgot your legs are short, Magic Hammer added another irritating comment. Magic Hammer, you should be glad this is the virtual universe, Nuolan Shan said irritably. If it weren't for the virtual universe, he could definitely have wiped Magic Hammer out. This kid really didn't know how to talk. Yeah, thanks to the virtual universe, otherwise I wouldn't have met you, teacher. Magic Hammer clearly didn't grasp Nuolan Shan's underlying meaning. Nuolan Shan was truly speechless, thinking to himself, what a total iron simpleton. Teacher, sit on my shoulder. The Gamu Dojo headquarters is huge. As Magic Hammer spoke, he picked Nuolan Shan up like a child and skillfully placed him on his shoulder. Put me down. Nuolan Shan struggled. I'm a grown man, and you're treating me like a child. Do I have no dignity left? Be careful not to fall, teacher, I'll hold you. Magic Hammer turned a deaf ear and thoughtfully used his 4 hands to steady Nuolan Shan, preventing him from falling off. The 4 hands were like iron pincers, locking Nuolan Shan firmly in place with no room to struggle. Nuolan Shan could only helplessly resign himself to it. Primarily, after walking for a while, he realized he wasn't the only one sitting on someone's shoulder. Many short humans were sitting on the shoulders of tall humans. This was a common phenomenon and a symbol of intimacy. After all, if the relationship wasn't good, who would let you sit on their shoulder? Nuolan Shan looked sideways at the iron simpleton and realized that although the kid didn't know how to talk, he was quite sincere. If one had a choice in social interactions, anyone would choose to associate with someone like this. Teacher, that is, and that is. Magic Hammer introduced the Gamu Dojo headquarters to Nuolan Shan in detail. Looking at this iron simpleton, Nuolan Shan asked, Magic Hammer, have you joined the Gamu secret realm? I've already joined. I gained insights into the law of Earth a while ago and was then recommended by the Gamu imperial family to join the secret realm, Magic Hammer replied, hiding nothing from Nuolan Shan. Not bad, not bad. Gaining insights into a law before reaching adulthood is much better than I was, Nuolan Shan praised sincerely. It's just average. We Angia Luo clan members reach the universe rank upon adulthood, which is a much higher starting point than other low-level bloodlines, Magic Hammer said matter-of-factly. Nuolan Shan took a deep breath and didn't speak. This iron simpleton really didn't know how to talk. While there was nothing factually wrong with what he said, it was extremely grating to others, because Nuolan Shan was exactly one of those low-level bloodlines he mentioned. His universe rank strength wasn't something he possessed at adulthood, it was something he had accumulated slowly, step by step. Teacher, why did you stop talking? Magic Hammer asked curiously. I don't want to talk, and I advise you to speak less in the future too, Nuolan Shan cautioned. That sounds familiar. My parents both say that to me, but I don't see any problem. I'm the most honest person, I never lie, Magic Hammer said, feeling good about himself. Keep it up. Nuolan Shan then asked, are there any rankings at the headquarters? Who is the number 1 astral rank genius? Naturally, there are rankings. You just need to log into the Gamu Dojo internal network and then enter the headquarters section. Of course, people from the branch offices usually can't see it, but since you've been promoted now, teacher, your permissions should have been unlocked, Magic Hammer said. Nuolan Shan immediately had the smart AIAFU operate it, and sure enough, several options that weren't there before appeared on the internal network. Come to think of it, this was his first time checking it since entering the Gamu secret realm, he had been too busy lately. The ranking method was based on points. One could earn a large number of points by clearing the trial tower, completing trial missions, or making significant contributions. The person at the top of the astral rank points list was named Muning Shi. She was a woman, and her photo was displayed, a gentle and graceful woman, beautiful as water. Muning Shi is a genius of the Kangming clan, specializing in the law of water. Speaking of Muning Shi, Magic Hammer began to talk incessantly. You know so much, do you like her? Nuolan Shan teased. I'm going to marry her, Magic Hammer said with a determined gaze. You probably can't beat her, right? Aren't you afraid of getting a beating? Nuolan Shan asked. In this ranking, Magic Hammer was only 10th, a full 9 places behind the first. What's there to be afraid of? I'll definitely catch up in the future. Besides, we Angia Luo clan members are the best at taking a beating, Magic Hammer said, thumping his chest. Indeed, among all the origin laws, the law of Earth had the strongest defensive power and was the best at taking hits. Can you contact her? Nuolan Shan asked. I can, and I know she came to attend a lecture today. I'll take you there right now. At the mention of this, Magic Hammer began to run happily. Nuolan Shan felt like he was riding a horse, his backside nearly jolted to pieces. His heart was truly fluttering. Nuolan Shan really felt it this time. Magic Hammer brought Nuolan Shan to the entrance of a classroom. It's right there, but class has already started, so we can't go in. We have to wait until it's over. To prevent students from freeloading, although one could see inside from the doorway, the sound from inside couldn't be heard, and naturally, those inside couldn't hear anything from outside either. This iron simpleton, Magic Hammer, looked at Mu Ningxi sitting in the first row with a gentle gaze and a silly grin. What a truly simple and silly boy. Nuolan Shan smiled and shook his head, then asked, why would there be a territory lord rank level 9 instructor in Ganwu space? Maybe she's a senior sister, or perhaps someone who was specially recruited like you, teacher, Magic Hammer replied. Oh, Nuolan Shan uttered a relaxed sound, then stepped toward the classroom. Teacher, don't. You'll be bounced back. Seeing Nuolan Shan about to enter the classroom, Magic Hammer hastily warned him. ... Thanks to Violent Young Man for the 3 monthly tickets. Seeking investment, recommendations, monthly tickets, and tips, basically seeking everything. Chapter 55, Taking on Disciples. However, Magic Hammer's worries were unnecessary. Nuolan Shan had already entered the classroom as smooth as silk. Has the system developed a bug? Magic Hammer, refusing to believe it, followed Nuolan Shan and stepped forward. Bang! The 3-meter giant was sent flying dozens of meters, rolling 3 times on the ground before coming to a stop. How could this be? Magic Hammer did not understand. Even if Nuolan Shan had been promoted, he was still just a mentor. According to the rules of the Ganwu dojo, even mentors could not enter after a class had started. Doing so would severely disrupt the order of the classroom. After all, the time of both students and mentors was precious. Sure enough, the 9th rank World Lord female mentor, Qianshui, who was lecturing on the podium, stopped and examined Nuolan Shan with a curious gaze. This person looked unfamiliar, and he was merely a universe rank. How did he have the authorization to enter her classroom? May I ask what brings your excellency here? Qianshui was not a fool. Since Nuolan Shan could enter her classroom, it meant he possessed authorization equivalent to an undying. She absolutely could not underestimate him just because he was only a universe rank. Apologies for the disturbance, Nuolan Shan said apologetically. I am here to take on a disciple. Take on a disciple. The entire room erupted in an uproar. They were all astral rank geniuses. If they weren't consolidating their foundations, they could easily break through to universe rank at any time. Who would ever take a universe rank as their teacher? It was simply laughable. Mu Ningxi also looked down on Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan was not surprised by this. After all, he was indeed only a universe rank. What, do you think I'm not qualified? Do you know Luo Feng? The first place winner of this genius battle was taught by me. At this point, Nuolan Shan had no choice but to use Luo Feng's reputation to bolster his own standing. So it is the holy mentor, that explains it. Hearing this, Qianshui understood immediately. She had long heard that the holy mentor's authorization was the same as that of an undying spiritual god. As for Nuolan Shan apprenticing under the Ganwu country lord, it had not yet spread. Those powerhouses were not loose-lipped. I know him, the holy mentor, Nuolan Shan, but he is ultimately only a universe rank. From their discussion, it was clear that although Nuolan Shan had a big reputation, his mere universe rank strength was still looked down upon by these arrogant geniuses. In their minds, at the very least, they should apprentice under a world lord, and it had to be one who was invincible among world lords. Universe rank was simply too low. Being only a universe rank at such an old age indicated limited potential. In the future, they could easily surpass him, so there was absolutely no need to take him as a teacher. Fine, since everyone doubts my strength, let's compete. Single combat or group brawl, it's up to you, I'm only one person anyway. Nuolan Shan added one last remark, Mentor Qianshui, that includes you. Wow, that is way too arrogant. I can't stand it, anyway. Mentor Qianshui, kill him. Kill him, it's the virtual universe anyway, he won't really die. Nuolan Shan's words were too arrogant, and everyone looked at him with hostility. Nuolan Shan didn't care. He originally intended to beat them into submission, since he had already tried talking and it didn't work. It seems the holy mentor is very confident in his own strength. Qianshui frowned and said, she didn't think Nuolan Shan was a fool. If he dared to say such things, he must have a trump card. She had to treat this seriously and could not afford the slightest bit of underestimation. Mentor Qianshui, are you ready? Nuolan Shan asked with a smile. Ready, anytime. Qianshui stepped down from the podium. Then I shall make my move. After saying this, Nuolan Shan looked at Mentor Qianshui. Instantly, her lively eyes became dazed. She had fallen into an illusion. Although Nuolan Shan had never thought about following the path of an illusionist, he had studied the secret technique, Thousand Illusions. Relying on his powerful law comprehension, it was just a world lord, he could make her fall into an illusion and be unable to extricate herself in minutes. Okay, I'm coming. Mentor Qianshui did not know what she was experiencing in the illusion. While speaking, she began to dance in the classroom. That wasn't a dance, it was clearly a beautiful piece of art. She was delicate, she was charming, she was pure. For a moment, it seemed to be the other way around. It wasn't Nuolan Shan casting an illusion on her, but rather her casting a charm technique on Nuolan Shan. In any case, after she finished her dance, Nuolan Shan lifted the illusion. However, Qianshui was completely unaware and was still saying, anytime you are ready to start. Teacher, you have already lost, Shi whispered into Qianshui's ear. Qianshui's ears instantly turned red. She wished she could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Finally, she glared fiercely at Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan shrugged and said, I think everyone has an understanding of my strength now. So, Shi, would you be willing to take me as your teacher? Shi was caught in a dilemma and looked at Qianshui for help. Qianshui nodded, indicating that it was acceptable to take Nuolan Shan as a teacher. There were many geniuses who could challenge across ranks, but in her many years of teaching at the Ganwu dojo, Qianshui had never seen a genius who could challenge across levels. It was easy to imagine just how terrifying Nuolan Shan would be once he break through to World Lord. It was even possible he could kill a World Lord across levels. This was something she didn't even dare to imagine. For such a figure to want to take Shi as a disciple was naturally a tremendous opportunity. Don't look at the fact that Nuolan Shan was only a universe rank now. His future was far brighter than Qianshui's, surpassing World Lord and standing shoulder to shoulder with the Undying. Disciple Shi pays respects to teacher Nuolan Shan. Having received Qianshui's affirmation, she no longer hesitated and performed the apprenticeship ceremony toward Nuolan Shan. Ding. Detected that the host has taken on a third-grade genius, Shi, as a disciple. Do you choose to bind? The moment Shi performed the apprenticeship ceremony, the system's notification sounded in Nuolan Shan's mind. Bind. Nuolan Shan chose to bind without hesitation. Binding successful. Host's comprehension ability for the law of water has increased. Whoosh. Even within the virtual universe, Nuolan Shan felt that his level of comprehension regarding the origin of the law of water had reached a brand new height. Rise. You continue with your class. Come find me after class. I am going to go take on your senior brother or senior sister. After saying this, Nuolan Shan left the classroom. However, these words left everyone confused. The senior brother or senior sister had not yet been taken in, yet the junior sister had apprenticed first. This was unreasonable, too unreasonable. But since Nuolan Shan had already left, they felt that no matter how unreasonable it was, they had to endure it. Let's go, Magic Hammer. We are going to find that guy named Kang Wu, Nuolan Shan said. Kang Wu, that guy ranked first in the universe rank. He didn't come to class today, he might be exploring some secret realm, Magic Hammer said. Afu, call him, Nuolan Shan ordered. Yes, master. Afu immediately used Nuolan Shan's top-level authorization to find Kang Wu's contact information and made the call. Hello, who is this? A dull, lazy voice came from the other side of the line. Kang Wu, I am Nuolan Shan. I want to take you as my disciple. Come to the virtual universe and let's meet, Nuolan Shan said. Nuolan Shan. The holy mentor who taught Luo Feng. You should be a universe rank just like me, right? Kang Wu questioned. We are both universe rank, so what right do you have to be my teacher? Do you want to compete? Let's have a fight in the decisive battle space. Whoever loses acknowledges the other as their teacher, Nuolan Shan provoked. Bring it on. It just so happens I haven't moved in a long time. See you in the decisive battle space. After saying this, Kang Wu hung up the phone, and at the same time, Nuolan Shan received his battle invitation. Nuolan Shan smiled and clicked to enter with his consciousness. The system was truly thoughtful. Just by seeing the list, it could determine what grade of genius he was, saving him the time of searching for people. Of course, if Nuolan Shan had not entered the Ganwu secret realm, he wouldn't have been able to see this list of geniuses either. Chapter 56, Whoever Wins as the Teacher. In the decisive battle space, Nuolan Shan met Kang Wu. His appearance was completely different from an earthling. It would be more appropriate to call him a tree. He stood 10 meters tall, with skin as dry and wrinkled as old tree bark, crisscrossed with deep furrows. He had as many hands as branches, 5 pairs in total, and his hair looked remarkably like a tree crown. If it weren't for the fact that he had eyes, ears, a nose, and a mouth like a member of the human race, he would have looked exactly like a tree. Kang Wu greets the holy mentor. Upon seeing Nuolan Shan, Kang Wu bowed respectfully. Although Kang Wu looked down on Nuolan Shan for being only at the universe rank, Nuolan Shan's status in the Ganwu dojo was comparable to an undying. As a member of the Ganwu secret realm, he had to maintain respect for him. Despite his young age, Kang Wu was an extremely stiff and old-fashioned person. You make the first move. Let me see your strength, Nuolan Shan said, crossing his arms over his chest. Forgive my offense. Kang Wu suddenly looked up, and a faint, subtle aura began to spread rapidly through the air. Simultaneously, with him as the center, the ground cracked open, and 10,000 wooden vines burst forth, lunging toward Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan strolled leisurely, weaving through them with ease. It was truly a case of passing through 1,000 flowers without a single leaf touching the body. Nuolan Shan even commented, "This move isn't bad, but the speed is too slow." Trap. Kang Wu was not influenced by Nuolan Shan at all. He controlled the vines to form a cage, trapping Nuolan Shan inside. Then let me test the toughness of these vines. Nuolan Shan smiled and took out his cosmic divine weapon. Third level of the cosmic divine weapon, Axe Domain. Thousands of axe beams surged forth. Crack, crack, crack. It was like chopping dry wood, effortless, breaking with a single strike. However, Nuolan Shan did not mock him. Instead, his expression turned solemn. After the vines were split, they seeped a green sap, and this sap was poisonous. Although Nuolan Shan had broken the cage, he had fallen into a poison trap. I didn't expect you to look so honest, yet have so many schemes, Nuolan Shan remarked, though it was unclear if he was praising or insulting him. My grandfather said that one should be good at using appearances to deceive opponents, Kang Wu replied woodenly. Your grandfather is indeed a wise man. Nuolan Shan had to admit his grandfather was right. There are many people in the world who like to judge others by their appearance. They trust others because they look honest, only to end up being sold and still helping the person count the money. Holy mentor, shall we continue? Kang Wu asked with an expression as if victory was already in his grasp. It's still early. It's just a bit of toxin, I'll just wash it away. As soon as Nuolan Shan finished speaking, a large amount of water gushed out from his center. Moreover, the law of water was infused into this water. Although the flow wasn't turbulent, the force was immense, washing the toxins completely away and leaving the ground as clean as new. I didn't expect the holy mentor to also be proficient in the law of water, Kang Wu said in surprise. As far as he knew, that Luo Feng used the law of gold. Logically, the teacher who trained him should also cultivate the law of gold. It's just average. You continue, Nuolan Shan said modestly. Then here I come. Ha! Kang Wu shouted loudly, his aura surging. He was surrounded by the scent of the origin law of wood, and weapons such as a saber, shield, axe, and fork appeared in his hands. Boom, boom, boom. Fully armed, Kang Wu charged toward Nuolan Shan. 10 hands attacked Nuolan Shan simultaneously, making it difficult even for Nuolan Shan, who only had one pair of hands, to keep up. He dodged repeatedly, secretly wondering how Kang Wu managed to use so many hands so methodically without getting them tangled. Oh, the offensive is quite fierce, as expected of the #1 universe-ranked genius of the Ganwu secret realm. Nuolan Shan acknowledged his rapid attacks. He had originally thought tree people were clumsy, but he didn't expect him to be so fierce. If he were to participate in a giant axe life-death battle, he would surely obtain the title of Giant Axe Warrior. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as Nuolan Shan finished praising him, a wooden vine, or more accurately, a wooden spear, suddenly thrust out from the gap between his hands. This move was definitely a sneak attack, but it was undeniably a magic treasure for winning against an enemy. However, how could Nuolan Shan be hit so easily? He made a move almost by instinct. Void Break. The first style of the 9 styles of heaven opening was unleashed. Crack. Not only did it snap the wooden spear, but the axe also split Kang Wu in half like firewood. Ah, my apologies, it was an instinctive reaction, Nuolan Shan said apologetically. He hadn't intended to end it so quickly, it was just that the wooden spear had been too dangerous, triggering his stress response. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just as Nuolan Shan was preparing to exit the decisive battle space, dozens of wooden vines shot out from Kang Wu's body, wrapping around Nuolan Shan layer after layer. Caught you. Kang Wu, who should have been dead, spoke. Not only that, but his body, which had been chopped in two, actually merged back together. Ho! As expected of one who specializes in the law of wood, your vitality is indeed so powerful, Nuolan Shan praised sincerely. Thank you for the praise, but it's all over now. After Kang Wu finished speaking, Nuolan Shan felt the wooden vines binding him constricting rapidly, intending to strangle him to death and crush him alive. It's not over yet. 5th level of the cosmic divine weapon, space-time cutting. Nuolan Shan gave a wicked smile. He was still a controller, after all. Although his body was bound, his mental power was not restricted. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Even though these wooden vines were tough enough, under the move space-time cutting, they were easily sliced through like paper, allowing Nuolan Shan to break free from the restraint. Ha ha ha, how about it? Do you admit defeat? Nuolan Shan laughed, shouldering his great axe. You've been poisoned, Kang Wu said unhurriedly. Poisoned? I already washed away the poison from the vines with water, Nuolan Shan said in surprise. As a universe rank, he shouldn't have forgotten something that happened so recently. Haven't you noticed that the smell in the air isn't right? Kang Wu said. Nuolan Shan's nose twitched, and he indeed smelled a faint fragrance in the air, somewhat like the scent of shampoo. I must say, this scent is actually quite nice. Did you develop it? Are you perhaps a pharmacist? Nuolan Shan said, rubbing his nose. That's right, I am a pharmacist. Or rather, our entire race are natural pharmacists, Kang Wu said proudly. Sounds very impressive. Nuolan Shan raised an eyebrow. Pharmacists were known as the researchers of the universe, a high-end profession. For example, the bloodline evolution potion was developed by pharmacists. Because of that bloodline evolution potion, the bloodline of the human race was improved as a whole. Pharmacists could be considered great contributors to the human race. However, although being a pharmacist seems high-end, it's just like being a novel author. A top-tier author might be tipped 100 million by a reader, while a bottom-tier author might be happy for half a day and add an extra chapter just because they reached a milestone of 500 bookmarks. Many bottom-tier pharmacists give up after persisting for a year or two because they truly see no hope. Very few persist for over 10 years, and those who remain at the bottom after 10 years are even rarer. The entry barrier for pharmacists is low, but succeeding is far too difficult. This also makes pharmacists very rare. Unlike the martial Tao, where any training yields improvement, and at the very least, you can work up a good sweat to feel refreshed. Why haven't you fallen yet? Kang Wu looked at Nuolan Shan in shock. With the poison he had released, it should have taken effect long ago. There is, of course, a reason for that. Nuolan Shan gave a wicked smile. Chapter 57, Come see me immediately. Crack. The illusion shattered, Kang Wu was still in a bowing posture, and the toxins released from his hair had only just begun to spread. From beginning to end, Nuolan Shan had never truly made a move, only exchanging blows with him within the illusion. Being prepared, Nuolan Shan naturally wouldn't inhale the toxic gas. Instead, he opened his mouth and blew gently, and a gale fused with the law of wind suddenly rose, blowing all the toxic gas back onto Kang Wu. Kang Wu let out a miserable cry, having actually been poisoned to death by his own toxin, turning into spots of light and disappearing from the decisive battle space. You can't even cure your own poison. I truly feel you aren't very suited for the path of a pharmacist, Nuolan Shan complained before also leaving the decisive battle space. I admit defeat and am willing to take you as my master. Where should I go to find you? Just after leaving the decisive battle space, Nuolan Shan received a message from Kang Wu. Nuolan Shan replied, "My true body is in the Ganwu secret realm. I will send someone to find you all when the time comes." You all. Kang Wu caught the key point. Nuolan Shan replied, "I plan to take 3 disciples today, I'm still missing one." Kang Wu, Master, what requirements do you have for a disciple? Nuolan Shan, preferably someone with high comprehension ability in the origin law of Earth. Kang Wu, Magic Hammer, a member of the Ganwu secret realm. He is of the Anjia Luo clan and is naturally close to the origin law of Earth. Magic Hammer. Nuolan Shan looked at the simpleton beside him. It didn't seem impossible. Nuolan Shan's main purpose in taking disciples was to improve his comprehension ability in the 3 origin laws of water, wood, and earth. He could take anyone, as long as their comprehension ability was high. Nuolan Shan replied, "Understood." At the same time, Magic Hammer received an email from Kang Wu, Brother Magic. Hammer, do you want a master? Kang Wu and Magic Hammer were old acquaintances, their 2 clans lived right next to each other. Furthermore, one was close to the origin law of wood while the other was close to the origin law of earth, a natural combination. After all, without earth, where would wood come from? And when wood decays, it turns into earth. Magic Hammer replied, He didn't understand what Kang Wu meant. Magic Hammer, did you mean it when you said you wanted to take me as your master? Nuolan Shan asked. Of course it's true. Disciple Magic Hammer greets master. Magic Hammer was no fool. Hearing Nuolan Shan say this, he immediately knelt before him and kowtowed repeatedly. Bang, bang, bang. Enough, enough. Nuolan Shan pulled Magic Hammer up. This silly child was truly honest. If Nuolan Shan hadn't pulled him up, he would definitely have kept kowtowing. Master, ha ha ha. Magic Hammer laughed happily. Sigh. Nuolan Shan shook his head helplessly, feeling that he might have made a mistake in taking Magic Hammer as a disciple. Ding. Host has been detected taking 3rd-class geniuses Kang Wu and Magic Hammer as disciples. Do you wish to bind them? The system's voice rang in Nuolan Shan's mind, grouping Kang Wu and Magic Hammer together as if it knew he would take 2 disciples in succession. Bind. Nuolan Shan chose to bind without hesitation. Binding successful. Congratulations to the host for the improvement in Wood Origin Law Comprehension ability and Earth Origin Law Comprehension ability. Suddenly, Nuolan Shan felt as if his entire being had been sublimated. Boom. An anomaly appeared in the sky as a golden announcement scroll materialized out of thin air and slowly unfurled. The scroll read, "The once in 100,000 years universe peak strongest battle is about to begin. Starting high, are you frustrated about missing the genius battle? Come participate in the universe peak strongest battle. Lonely at the top, come participate in the universe peak strongest battle. Join the Virtual Universe Corporation, and you can obtain the best resources and the best training in the entire universe." Various slogans appeared on the scroll, making Magic Hammer's heart surge with excitement. Unfortunately, he was currently only at the astral rank and had no qualification to participate in the universe peak strongest battle. Master, will you participate? Magic Hammer asked. Me. Nuolan Shan pointed at himself. It was true. Although he could now insta-kill territory lords, his actual cultivation was still at the universe rank, so he was qualified to participate in the strongman battle. Magic Hammer said excitedly, Master is so strong, you'll definitely win the championship. Big Brother Luo was first in the genius battle, and Master first in the strongman battle, that would be so badass to say. Boring. Nuolan Shan shook his head, he disdained doing such tedious things. If he hadn't come to the Ganwu secret realm, he might have participated in the strongman battle to win first place and increase his fame, but now it was completely unnecessary. Firstly, he was a holy mentor, and third-class geniuses were everywhere in the Ganwu secret realm. Secondly, he was now the disciple of 10 universe exalts, with a status higher than even a champion undying. Once the news spread and he announced he was taking disciples, all sorts of geniuses would surely come flocking. Magic Hammer urged, Master, that's first place in the strongman battle. The wealth and resources gained are beyond imagination. Since you're only at the universe rank anyway, you might as well take this windfall, it won't delay anything. I'm logging off. Stay in the secret realm, and I'll arrange for someone to pick you up later. Nuolan Shan didn't want to argue with Magic Hammer and chose to log off. However, Magic Hammer was right about one thing, he was currently only at the universe rank, and it was time to choose to break through. I should tell Master first. Nuolan Shan thought about it, a breakthrough in realm was a major event, so it was necessary to inform his master. Master, I have stayed at the universe rank for a long time. While gestating my clone, I wish to break through to the territory lord rank. Nuolan Shan sent an email to the Ganwu country lord. He expected a quick reply, but Nuolan Shan waited for a long time before receiving the Ganwu country lord's response. Ganwu country lord, speedily come see me. Let's go, divine generals. We're going to see Master. Nuolan Shan stopped. Yes. The 13th divine general hurriedly stepped forward to support Nuolan Shan, then flew him toward the Ganwu country lord's palace at maximum speed. Tisk, brown noser. The 4th divine general followed behind with disdain. Arriving at the palace entrance, the 4th and 13th divine generals were stopped by the 1st divine general. The country lord has ordered that only your highness is allowed inside. The 4th and 13th divine generals exchanged glances, their faces full of confusion. Had they fallen so low that they didn't even have the qualification to see the country lord anymore? Even so, they respectfully obeyed the order and stepped aside, guarding the palace entrance like stone lions. As Nuolan Shan walked into the palace, the 4th divine general couldn't help but transmit his voice to the great divine general. Boss, what's the situation? Why won't the country lord even let us in? One must know they were members of the 18 divine generals, the most trusted confidants of the Ganwu country lord. They could participate in almost everything, yet now they weren't even allowed through the door. I don't know the specifics, but many universe exalts have arrived today and are currently inside the hall. I advise you to stop prying into the country lord's business, the more you know, the faster you die. The 1st divine general gave the 4th divine general a final piece of advice. HMPH. The 4th divine general snorted in annoyance. The 13th divine general held back his laughter, his expression looking quite distorted and pained. Boom. As Nuolan Shan entered the main hall, he suddenly felt an overwhelming aura pressing down on him. Almost instinctively, he unleashed the 9th level of the golden domain to resist this aura. Chapter 58. 10 exalts take a disciple. However, that aura suddenly grew stronger, forcing Nuolan Shan to use the law of gold to stabilize his domain, lest it collapse before this powerful pressure. Boom. Another even more powerful aura came, a total of 9 waves in succession. Nuolan Shan had to use every trick up his sleeve just to barely withstand it, but he ended up half kneeling on the ground, teeth clenched as if he might collapse at any moment. All right, if you keep playing, you'll break him, Ganwu country lord's voice rang out. Nuolan Shan felt the weight lift and immediately stood up. Ha ha ha, look how distressed Ganwu is, country lord Yuan Chen laughed. Ha ha ha, the other universe country masters joined in the laughter. Nuolan Shan was completely bewildered, not understanding why these big shots were gathered together, but he still had to maintain proper etiquette. He bowed and said, "Greetings, teacher." "Greetings, seniors. No need for formalities," Ganwu country lord said. "Disciple, let me introduce you. The one who just spoke is the country master of the Yuanshan Universe country, and this is Country Lord Gu Lun. Besides Country Lord Yuan Chen and Country Lord Gu Lun, there were also Country Master Kanqing, Country Master Xuanji, Country Master Haoming, Country Master Lanzhou, Country Master Qiao, Country Master Yuyuan, and Country Master Chenyu. They all looked at Nuolan Shan with smiles, as if they were admiring a peerless heavy treasure, liking him immensely. Your talent is so high that it's not enough for me alone to teach you, so I invited them over. In addition to having comprehended higher laws, each of them is also proficient in a lower law. That is to say, from today onwards, all 10 of us will be your teachers, Gamu Country Lord said. Gamu Country Lord had absolute trust in these old friends and felt he owed them, which is why he decided to share a genius like Nuolan Shan instead of keeping him for himself. Of course, in his view, having 10 universe exalts teaching Nuolan Shan simultaneously was definitely a stroke of incredible luck for him. The plan sounded crazy, but it was actually happening. Nuolan Shan was so shocked his jaw dropped upon hearing Gamu Country Lord's words. What? I have 10 universe exalts as teachers. Good heavens, one must know that there are fewer than 2,000 universe exalts in the entire human race. Having 10 of them as teachers at once, who could possibly have a stronger backing than him? Gamu Country Lord's network included at least 9 universe exalts, and those 9 could naturally pull in their own networks, and so on. Nuolan Shan's current backing was practically all the universe exalts and universe lords of the human race. An absolute crown prince. It was so surreal. Just a few days ago, he was merely a one-leaf Gamu practitioner at the Gamu dojo on Chulong Star. This leap was simply too massive. Silly boy, what are you standing there for? Hurry and greet your teachers, Gamu Country Lord scolded with a smile. Nuolan Shan finally snapped out of it and hurriedly bowed to each teacher one by one. Greetings, Teacher Yuanshan. Greetings, Teacher Gulan. Good. Just like Gamu Country Lord, each of them gave Nuolan Shan a heavy treasure as a meeting gift. These heavy treasures were clearly decided upon beforehand, because when combined, they formed a treasure set. A golden crown, golden battle axe, golden necklace, heart-protecting mirror, golden armor, golden bracers, golden gloves, golden cloak, and golden wings. Along with the wind thunder boots given by Gamu Country Lord, the entire set was complete. Once Nuolan Shan put them on, he looked exactly like a little golden man. It was no exaggeration to say that with this equipment on, even if he were an ordinary person, no one below a universe country master could hope to harm him. He was truly armed to the teeth, giving him a full sense of security. But to be honest, Nuolan Shan really didn't like this color scheme. The shiny, bright gold was far too tacky, but since it was a gift from his teachers, he couldn't say much. My disciple looks very sharp in that, Gamu Country Lord praised. Of course, he's my disciple after all. Exactly. But if you ask me, that necklace is the best looking, especially since it defends the soul. It's the most precious, Country Lord Yuan Chen said loudly, specifically for Nuolan Shan to hear. With so many teachers, there had to be a hierarchy of closeness. See, Yuan Chen, gave you the most precious heavy treasure, so you should be closest to me. Yuan Chen, what are you saying? Is my golden crown not precious? Can it not also defend the soul? Country Lord Gu Lun immediately protested. Exactly. What we gave are all heavy treasures, and their values aren't that different. The other universe exalts collectively opened fire on Country Lord Yuan Chen. You're speaking against your conscience. Everyone knows that among heavy treasures, those focused on soul defense are the most precious. Country Lord Yuan Chen argued his case. He was determined to let Nuolan Shan know he was the most generous, wealthiest, and most liberal one. If you're going to put it that way, I have other heavy treasures too. Exactly, we discussed this beforehand. For a moment, the many universe country masters were squabbling to curry favor with Nuolan Shan. The scene became a mess, leaving Nuolan Shan stunned. How could the arguments between universe country masters be so mundane? His filter for powerful experts completely shattered. Enough, don't forget why we're here today. Gamu Country Lord finally couldn't take it anymore and shouted. At Gamu country lord's shout, the various country masters realized that acting like this in front of a junior was quite beneath them, and they immediately stopped arguing. The reason we gathered today is to designate a study plan for Nuolan Shan. Everyone, let's hear your thoughts. Gamu country lord, acting as the host, presided over the discussion. Country lord Yuan Chen was the first to speak. Nuolan Shan's weapon is the great axe, so he should first practice my axe techniques and follow me to cultivate the path of space. Country lord Ji Yulun disagreed again, counter-arguing, when it comes to axe techniques, how can anything beat the great axe battleground? Mine is the most authentic. Nuolan Shan should learn from me first. Country master Yu Yuan countered, no, we want Nuolan Shan to develop comprehensively. He doesn't know the origin law of water yet, so he should learn from me first. After all, among everyone here, I have the deepest research into the origin law of water. I agree with that, but while Nuolan Shan's combat power is sufficient, his defense is lacking. Therefore, he should first learn the origin law of earth from me. No. Well, the group of universe exalts started arguing again. However, Nuolan Shan understood this time. These big shots wanted him to comprehend all the laws and become an invincible existence like the origin ancestor. Nuolan Shan hadn't thought of this before. After all, although he had a cheat, his horizons were ultimately too narrow. In the past, even seeing an undying required him to look up. To become an existence like the origin ancestor, he didn't know how many years it would take or how to even get there. Enough. Why are you arguing again? You're making a joke of yourselves in front of our disciple. Gamu country lord once again stopped their bickering. Then what do you suggest we do? All the country masters asked in unison. Gamu country lord was momentarily speechless. He wanted to suggest a way, but he knew it would be hard to please everyone. Someone would bound to disagree, leading to another round of endless arguing. Nuolan Shan weakly raised his hand and asked, I'd like to ask my teachers, if I go to learn from you, how do you plan to teach me? That's simple. We will pass on all our insights into the laws and our self-created secret techniques to you, and provide you with almost unlimited resource support. Country Lord Yuan Chen spoke first, and this time no universe country master contradicted him. Chapter 59, Study Plan. Nuolan Shan felt a headache coming on as soon as he heard it. This was typical cramming style teaching, just keep teaching regardless of whether the child has learned it or not. This method is exhausting for the child and even more so for the teacher, because no two leaves in the world are the same, and it is absolutely impossible to use a secret technique created by someone else to perfection. Nuolan Shan bowed to the group of teachers and said, First, I ask for your forgiveness, teachers. I do not agree with your educational methods. It is extremely inefficient. A person's best teacher is always interest. From the moment I entered until now, none of you have asked what my interests are, so how can you know how to teach me? Education should start with interest and then gradually spread out to achieve all-around development in morality, intelligence, physical fitness, aesthetics, and labor. If you teach in a direction opposite to one's interests from the start, it will not only make the student weary of learning but also disappoint the teacher. These words left the universe exalts dumbfounded, because no one had ever said such things to them, and no one had ever dared to speak to them like that. However, it had to be said that Nuolan Shan's words were like a sudden enlightenment for them, especially the phrase, interest is the best teacher. Note that it was interest and not talent. Many teachers feel a child has good talent in a certain area and force them in that direction. Over time, the child becomes weary and starts to hate their own talent. Then, disciple, do you have a plan for your own studies? Asked the Gamu country lord. Nuolan Shan shook his head and said, Currently, I don't have a specific study plan because I don't know what you teachers can teach me. Any plan must be built on the basis of known conditions. The group of country masters exchanged messages via voice transmission and felt that Nuolan Shan was right. Subsequently, they took out several scrolls from their world rings. There were 10 scrolls in total, each engraved with profound secret patterns. The power of the laws constantly radiated from the scrolls, washing over the divine temple. Had the temple not been sturdy, it would have surely collapsed under the burden of this law power. treasures similar to the Chaos Monument. Nuolan Shan blurted out upon seeing these scrolls. Oh, I didn't expect you to actually know about the Chaos Monument. This surprised the group. Generally speaking, those who are not core members of the Five Giants do not know about the Chaos Monument. Nuolan Shan was just a minor universe rank before and shouldn't have had contact with this. I also heard it from Teacher Ganwu. Nuolan Shan made up a casual excuse. The Ganwu country lord smiled and said, the Chaos Monuments are stored in Primordial Chaos City within the Primal Universe. Only an expert of at least the Universe Overlord level can engrave their own insights into the laws upon them for the younger generations of the human race to study. Our 10 scrolls are still somewhat inferior to those. So we discussed it earlier. Since the Universe Peak Strongest battle is about to begin, you should participate and enter the core of the Virtual Universe Corporation. That way, you will get the chance to study the Chaos Monuments. Ah, that would be very boring. And as far as I know, each member can only study one Chaos Monument, Nuolan Shan said reluctantly. We will find a way to solve that. You only need to show enough talent in the strongman battle. It's best if you can achieve total suppression. Besides studying the Chaos Monuments, the Virtual Universe Corporation also has resources that we do not have, said the Ganwu country lord. Yes, teacher. Since the teachers had made the decision, Nuolan Shan could not easily go against it and could only agree. All right, let's continue. We will transmit the secret techniques to you. Now, after the Ganwu country lord finished speaking, 10 secret techniques appeared in Nuolan Shan's intelligent information database, all of which were powerful secret techniques created by these universe country masters themselves. However, they only included content up to the territory lord rank rather than everything. After all, they just wanted Nuolan Shan to make a selection first, and they feared that giving too much would make him overly ambitious or feel overwhelmed. Please wait a moment, teachers, I need to take a look. Nuolan Shan bowed to the teachers and then began to look. He wasn't looking at the secret techniques, but at those 10 scrolls. First was Country Lord Yuan Chen's time scroll, which had a total of 8 diagrams. The first diagram was a point, the second was a series of jumping points, the third was a continuous string of points, then a red sun, stars, the void. As he watched, Nuolan Shan involuntarily became immersed, entering a state of epiphany. All the country masters looked at each other and tacitly chose to set up a barrier, making no sound. It's good to be young, to enter an epiphany just like that. They were old and failing, their heads turning into mush. Nuolan Shan's epiphany lasted for a full 3 days. His entire body was enveloped in a mysterious aura, and his comprehension of the laws improved every day. Looking at him now, he seemed to be in the past, yet also in the future. It was just hard to tell if he was in the present. 3 days later, Nuolan Shan woke up from his epiphany on his own and walked toward the second small space chaos monument, and then he entered another epiphany. He went back and forth 10 times, spending a total of 30 days. He had also mastered the origin laws of earth, water, and wood, which he previously didn't know. After all, stones from other hills can serve to polish jade. Of course, compared to his comprehension of the law of gold, they were still much weaker. The universe country masters became more satisfied the more they looked at Nuolan Shan. An epiphany isn't rare, but consecutive epiphanies are too heaven-defying, 10 times in a row. Who could do that? No one would even dare to make up such a story. Teachers, I would like to venture to share my future study plan. Please provide your guidance. After finishing his epiphanies, Nuolan Shan bowed to the teachers and began to explain his study plan. First, he decided to advance all fronts simultaneously rather than starting with one. In other words, he was interested in all origin laws. And having just tried advancing simultaneously, he suddenly found that he could actually learn through analogy. Since laws can undergo fusion, they are destined to be intertwined. Those with insufficient talent must view them separately, but Nuolan Shan's talent was sufficient. He decided to view them all together, mixed together. Of course, whether he could keep this up until the end would depend on the situation later. If he grew tired of certain laws, he could stop. At least for now, Nuolan Shan had a deep interest in every law. I certainly know your natural talent, but a person's energy is limited after all. How can you do them all at once? The Gamu country lord worried. Country lord Gu Lun said, Gamu, have you gone senile? Our disciple has the clone talent, and we've brought the materials. The Gamu country lord slapped his forehead and said, right, I almost forgot the main business. Everyone, take out the prepared materials. Immediately, the country masters began taking items out from their worlds. Portions of powerful and incredibly precious materials were laid out before Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan stepped forward and began to select carefully. The Gamu country lord suggested, Disciple, if you want to advance all fronts and multitask, it's best to choose a soul-type life form. That way, it will be smoother. The argumentative country lord Yuan Chen agreed, on this point, what Gamu said makes a lot of sense. Country lord Gu Lun also agreed and pointed to the materials he had brought out, saying, Disciple, this single drop is the essence of a soul-type life form, enough for you to nurture a clone. Chapter 60, Cashback Pengu Essence Blood. Thank you for your kindness, teachers, but I have already chosen the materials I need, Nuolan Shan said with a bow to the gathered country masters. Whose did you take a fancy to? Well, the country masters were truly bored, starting to look forward to Nuolan Shan choosing their materials again. A new round of seeking favor began. It's that drop of essence blood. Nuolan Shan pointed at a drop of essence blood floating in midair, emitting the aura of the origin law of Earth. Ha ha ha, you certainly have a good eye, as expected of my disciple. This drop of essence blood was brought out by Country Master Chiao, so he explained, this is a drop of essence blood I obtained while venturing through a secret realm. I have studied it for many years and still do not know what race it belongs to. However, it is certain that this is definitely from a race with a massive body and formidable defense. Country Master Chiao didn't know which race this essence blood belonged to, but Nuolan Shan knew very well because he possessed the legacy memories of the three-legged golden crow. This was a drop of ancestral witch essence blood, and specifically, the essence blood of the earth ancestral witch. In the myths and legends Nuolan Shan knew, there were 12 ancestral witches in the Great Desolation who controlled the 12 laws, each had a massive body and peerless combat power. And in the world of Swallowed Star, big is beautiful, big is good. Among the materials brought out by the country masters, this ancestral witch's body was the most massive, and its growth ceiling was high. A massive body is good, that way, after becoming undying, there's no need to worry about the depletion of divine power. Especially since its law of Earth is so dense, it will definitely be of great help in comprehending the origin law of Earth. Gamu country lord affirmed Nuolan Shan's choice. Good, then let's do that. Start the gestation now, country lord Gu Lun said. For a moment, everyone stared at Nuolan Shan. Nuolan Shan said, sorry teachers, I've had too many epiphanies and want to rest for a bit. Moreover, gestating a clone takes time. You are all important figures, there's no need to wait for me. I'll just go back and gestate the clone myself. True, we were too impatient. We'll talk about everything after the clone is gestated. I'm leaving first. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. They came quickly and left just as fast. In an instant, the universe country masters from afar had all returned, but they left the scrolls for Nuolan Shan to contemplate later. Teacher, I'm heading back first. Nuolan Shan bid farewell to Gamu country lord and walked out of the main hall. Seeing Nuolan Shan finally come out, the 4th Divine General and 13th Divine General hurried over to meet him. Good grief, they had been standing outside the hall for a full month. Although their legs weren't sore, it was incredibly boring. 13th Divine General, please bring my disciple Bakalo to the side hall to see me, Nuolan Shan said to the 13th Divine General. Yes, I'll go right away. It would definitely be impossible for anyone else to bring someone to the peak of the sacred mountain, but since it was Nuolan Shan speaking, the 13th Divine General carried it out without hesitation. After Nuolan Shan and the 4th Divine General returned to the side hall, Bakalo was also brought over by the 13th Divine General. Disciple greets teacher. Seeing Nuolan Shan, Bakalo was so excited he almost cried. Man, they both went to the trial tower, but as soon as he came out, he found Nuolan Shan gone. This place was unfamiliar, and it was filled with powerful experts, the pressure was truly immense. Now, he finally saw his dear teacher. I ask the two divine generals to wait outside, I have words to say to Bakalo. Nuolan Shan asked the two divine generals to go out first because he had important things to discuss with Bakalo. After the two divine generals went out, Nuolan Shan scolded, "How old are you now? Why don't you know what to do when I'm not by your side?" "Teacher, I was wrong." Bakalo's attitude in admitting his mistake was good. Nuolan Shan shook his head and said, all right. Take this drop of essence blood and refine it, it should improve your physique and give you an affinity for the origin law of Earth. The drop of essence blood Nuolan Shan took out was precisely that of the Earth ancestral witch. Although it didn't match Bakalo, who comprehended the law of wind, Bakalo was the closest to him among all his disciples. The reason Nuolan Shan forcibly gave Bakalo the Earth ancestral witch essence blood was for the 100-fold cashback. Actually, to maximize benefits, he should have given this drop of essence blood to Luo Feng. But for one, Luo Feng was currently on his way to the primal universe, which was too far. For another, gestating clones also had a limit. 100-fold cashback was still within the range of tolerance, but if it were 1,000-fold, the gestation would likely fail. One must know that Luo Feng originally wanted to gestate a world tree clone to act as a divine power bank, but in the end, it failed because it exceeded the limit. Thank you, teacher. Bakalo carefully took the Earth ancestral witch essence blood and then swallowed it directly to begin refining. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed Earth ancestral witch essence blood upon disciple Bakalo. Triggering 100-fold cashback. The item has been stored in the host's world ring, please check it. The system prompt sounded in Nuolan Shan's mind at the same time. Nuolan Shan impatiently delved into his world ring and saw a drop of 7-colored, radiant essence blood. The moment he saw that drop of essence blood, Nuolan Shan's heart began to throb wildly. Because the system told him that this wasn't ancestral witch essence blood, but a drop of Pengu essence. Blood. Pengu. What kind of existence was that? In Legends, he was a super big shot who transformed his body into the universe. Things like the 3-legged golden crow were merely spirits from his left eye. Things like the 12 ancestral witches were merely transformed from his essence blood. Things like the 3 pure ancestral masters were merely a few wisps of his remnant soul. With such an existence, can I succeed in gestating it? Nuolan Shan felt apprehensive. No matter how he looked at it, Pengu was more impressive than the world tree. Luo Feng had failed to gestate the world tree, the probability of him gestating a Pengu clone was almost zero. However, the essence blood is already here, I can't possibly give up. Nuolan Shan, holding the idea of giving it a try, began to gestate the Pengu clone. To accelerate the gestation, Nuolan Shan also placed the golden egg into the locked divine water to provide it with sufficient nutrition. During the gestation process, Nuolan Shan didn't stay idle either, he entered the slaughter space to begin adapting to his power. He had experienced a total of 10 epiphanies in the Gamu Country Lord's Divine Hall, and his overall comprehension of laws had improved. He had to adapt to this improvement. He began his painful yet happy cultivation again. It had to be said that this virtual universe was truly a treasure of the human race, allowing the human race to fight to their heart's content without worrying about death. After fully adapting to his skyrocketing power, Nuolan Shan could now barely execute the 7th form of the cosmic divine weapon. Relying on this move alone was enough to clear the universe rank heaven mounting mountain. Since he couldn't break through to the territory lord rank for now, he could only start with his physical body if he wanted to cultivate. It just so happened that he hadn't cultivated the 9-9 mysterious art after obtaining it. After handling his affairs, he would set about cultivating his physical body to increase his original body's gene multiplier. Bakalo, how is your absorption going? Nuolan Shan asked Bakalo, who was sitting cross-legged there, absorbing the earth ancestral witch essence blood. Chapter 61, Fiercely Rebutting Babata. Bakalo, how is your absorption progressing? Nuolan Shan asked. Teacher, I have only absorbed 1%, Bakalo replied. Even at just 1%, a faint aura of the origin law of Earth had already begun to emanate from his body. As expected of ancestral shaman essence blood. It was unknown how many millions of years it had existed, yet it still possessed such miraculous effects. Take your time. At your current pace, you should have completely absorbed this drop of essence blood by the time of the universe peak strongest battle, Nuolan Shan said. Teacher, you want me to participate in the strongman battle? Bakalo asked in surprise. He had never thought of this before, nor did he dare to. Open black lens bracket. Remember this site's domain name. For Taiwan novels, your first choice is Chao Zhe Li, close black lens bracket. After all, to put it bluntly, the strongman battle was established by the two giants to absorb high-level human race bloodline geniuses. Although Bakalo had used a bloodline evolution potion, an acquired bloodline was still acquired and could not be considered a truly high-level bloodline. Furthermore, high-level bloodline races meant their old ancestors were exceptionally powerful, either champion undying or universe exalts, or possibly even universe lords. The resources and training they received were beyond comparison for ordinary geniuses. Nuolan Shan said, no confidence in yourself. Bakalo smiled bitterly. Teacher, the weight of my blade race is still a bit too light. No matter, the importance lies in participating. I won't require you to take first place, because that belongs to me, Nuolan Shan said domineeringly. Teacher is also participating. Good, then I will go too. Upon hearing that Nuolan Shan was also joining the strongman battle, Bakalo no longer hesitated and immediately decided to sign up. Nuolan Shan smiled and commanded his AI, Afu, sign me and Bakalo up. Yes, master. Afu took the command and began the operation. Nuolan Shan glanced casually at the number of participants. The number for the strongman battle was much lower than for the genius battle. The number of registrants for the genius battle across the entire universe was 8.2 trillion, while the number for the strongman battle was only 4.2 trillion, a full 4 trillion fewer. Judging from this glimpse, high-level bloodline human race members were still in the minority. After confirming the registration was successful, Nuolan Shan said to Bakalo, I previously entered Ganwu space and took 3 disciples. You were the eldest senior brother, go and bring them here. I'll send you their information now. Although Bakalo was surprised that Nuolan Shan had taken 3 disciples at once, he loyally executed the order, heading off to find his junior brothers and junior sister based on the provided data. During the wait, Nuolan Shan thought of Luo Feng, his most talented disciple. Since he had nothing else to do, he made a video call to him. Teacher. Luo Feng answered almost instantly, looking at Nuolan Shan with a smile. Judging by his surroundings, he seemed to be in a spaceship's rest cabin. It looks like you've already set off for Primordial Chaos City, Nuolan Shan laughed. Luo Feng nodded. Yes, teacher. I heard it takes 3 years. Let me give you a few words of advice. Yes. Luo Feng immediately stood respectfully, prepared to memorize Nuolan Shan's words. As far as I know, you will receive a sum of points. These points shouldn't be spent recklessly, they are the starting capital provided by the Virtual Universe Corporation for Geniuses. Do not spend them directly on secret techniques to increase strength. If you must buy something, buy things that facilitate the comprehension of laws. The 30 years in Primordial Chaos City are still for building a foundation. After entering Primordial Chaos City, you will all be eligible to study a Chaos Monument. Based on your comprehension of the law of space and the law of gold, I suggest you choose the 9-universe Chaos Monument. However, each person can only study before the Chaos Monument for 7 days. This time is too short, it passes in the blink of an eye. Therefore, before you study the Chaos Monument, go to the Tongtian Bridge first. According to the rules of Primordial Chaos City, for every level of the Tongtian Bridge you clear, you gain an extra opportunity to study the Chaos Monument. With your current strength, you should be able to clear at least 2 levels, maybe even 3. This way, you'll have at least 21 days of study time, so you won't have to worry about being forcibly interrupted and losing your inspiration. One last thing, show all of your talent, don't hold anything back. The higher-ups of the human race love geniuses most. If you perform even better than Cody did back then, perhaps even a universe lord would fight to take you as a disciple. Nuolan Shan might really be getting old, as he rambled for a long while before finishing. Yes, teacher, I've remembered it. Luo Feng nodded earnestly. He certainly wouldn't take detours like in the original story, where he didn't even have enough points to exchange for the floating blood secret technique, wasting a lot of time. But teacher, this should be a secret of Primordial Chaos City. Even Babata doesn't know. How do you know? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask curiously. My talent isn't bad either, so the Gamu country lord has already taken me as a disciple. My current authority is much higher than Babata's, so the information I can access is naturally more than his. Nuolan Shan fabricated. What? The Gamu country lord? This exclamation came from Babata, who had been nearby all along. Nuolan Shan, you're not bragging, are you? Babata questioned. I don't seem to have any need to prove it to you, Nuolan Shan said with an unfriendly tone. I'm warning you, don't lead Luo Feng astray. Do your job and don't give blind directions. Babata didn't like him, and he had never liked Babata either. Regarding the invasion of Earth by Bulo back then, if it weren't for his skill in debate, Babata would have successfully instigated a rift between master and disciple. Nuolan Shan, you've gone too far. At the very least, I am your senior. Babata said huffily. Relying on old age to act superior is even more detestable, Nuolan Shan scolded again. You. Babata wanted to start cursing, but was forcibly held back by Luo Feng. Babata, enough. Do not be disrespectful to my teacher. I'm being disrespectful. It's clearly him. Fine, fine, I'm going to play. Seeing Luo Feng's stern gaze, Babata had no choice but to compromise and enter the virtual universe to vent his frustration. Teacher, please don't lower yourself to Babata's level. He's just like that, an old child. Luo Feng apologized to Nuolan Shan on Babata's behalf. Nuolan Shan nodded. But teacher, did you really take the Gamu country lord as your master? Luo Feng still couldn't help but ask curiously. Yes, I am currently in my teacher's side palace, Nuolan Shan confirmed. Teacher, you're too amazing. In that case, wouldn't I be the Gamu country lord's grand disciple? A universe exalt, what a great existence that is. He could probably slap a marquee-level undying to death with one hand, Luo Feng said excitedly. No need for that much trouble, he could crush an undying like Huyanbo with a single finger, Nuolan Shan added. So powerful. I wonder if I can ever reach that height, Luo Feng lamented. Nuolan Shan, cultivate well, and one day you will reach it, and you will surely surpass it. While building a solid foundation, you must also forge ahead bravely with an invincible spirit. Of course, if you encounter trouble you truly cannot solve, don't be stubborn. You can come to me to help you settle it. Teacher, my junior brothers and junior sister have arrived. At this moment, Bakalo's voice rang out. He walked in leading Kang Wu, Miu, Ningxi, and Magic Hammer. So fast. That's perfect. Luo Feng, you should also meet my newly accepted disciples. With Bakalo's speed, he naturally couldn't have brought them so quickly, it was with the help of the 13th Divine General. When it came to conduct, the 13th Divine General was truly beyond reproach. Chapter 62, Beginning Seclusion. Greetings, teacher. Kang Wu and the other two respectfully bowed to Nuolan Shan as they entered. Kang Wu, in particular, was not only completely convinced but also incredibly grateful. On their way here, they had learned that Nuolan Shan had actually become a disciple of the Gamu country lord. That was a great existence like a universe exalt, there weren't many of them in the entire human race. To be able to become a grand disciple of the Gamu country lord was truly like smoke rising from the ancestral graves, they were going to strike it rich. Big brother Luo, no, senior brother Luo. He. Magic Hammer greeted Luo Feng warmly when he saw him in the video. Magic Hammer, you've also become teacher's disciple. Luo Feng was surprised to see Magic Hammer, but he was mostly happy. Although he hadn't spent much time with Magic Hammer, Luo Feng knew he was a straightforward person who respected the strong. Magic Hammer had mentioned wanting to take Nuolan Shan as his teacher before, and he hadn't expected him to actually succeed. Luo Feng was happy for Magic Hammer's success in becoming a disciple, and happy that Magic Hammer had become his junior brother. You already know Magic Hammer. This is Mu Ningxi, who majors in the law of water, Kangwu majors in the law of wood. Nuolan Shan introduced them to Luo Feng. Hello everyone, I'm Luo Feng. Luo Feng greeted the three of them enthusiastically. Greetings, senior brother. Even Kang Wu, a universe rank, addressed Luo Feng as senior brother. He was the number one in the genius battle. After all, his status went without saying, and his combat power was definitely not weaker than a universe level 9. After all, he was a powerhouse who had comprehended laws while still at the astral rank, and with extremely high attainments at that. He was not comparable to someone like Mu Shi, an astral rank who had just stepped onto the threshold of laws. All right, you've met them all. I'm hanging up now, Nuolan Shan said to Luo Feng before immediately ending the call. Nuolan Shan looked at the three and said, since you have taken me as your teacher, I will definitely do my best to instruct you. I will give you two choices now. The first choice is rapid progress, and the second is steady improvement. Which do you choose? I choose the second one. Kang Wu made his choice without hesitation. In other words, steady improvement meant building a solid foundation, concentrating, and concentrating again. Only with a solid foundation can a skyscraper be built and one can become those great existences. I also choose steady improvement. Mu Shi likewise chose the second option. I choose rapid progress. However, Magic Hammer's choice was completely different. Magic Hammer's reasoning was that if he also chose steady improvement, he would never be able to defeat Mu Shi in this lifetime, and then he wouldn't be able to marry her. It was unclear why he believed that as long as he defeated Mu Shi, she would marry him. Magic Hammer, shut up. Mu Shi immediately scolded him upon hearing his choice. Then I choose the second one, steady improvement. Magic Hammer was a typical simp. He would obediently follow whatever the object of his affection said. Good. In that case, let's start with the laws. After Nuolan Shan finished speaking, he began taking things out of his world ring. Kang Wu, this is analysis of the wood origin, which can help you comprehend the law of wood origin. Nuolan Shan had exchanged this from the Gamu Dojo's point mall. Not to mention universe coins, Nuolan Shan had more points than he could count. Firstly, he had cultivated the number 1 rank in the genius battle, and secondly, he had cleared the trial tower, which offered doubled rewards. Moreover, having cleared 6 types of trial towers consecutively, his points were even more exaggerated, making it easy to exchange for a few secret techniques. Thank you, teacher. Kang Wu excitedly received the analysis of the law of wood origin. He had seen this in the Point Mall. Even if he went bankrupt, he could only afford the first volume, yet Nuolan Shan had bought the entire set to bestow upon him. This teacher was simply too rich. While improving your law comprehension, your combat power cannot fall behind. This is the secret technique, Wood of Space. Take it and cultivate it. Additionally, I will give you 1 Hunyuan unit. You can purchase whatever cultivation resources you need yourself. Thank you, teacher. Kang Wu thanked him sincerely, as the teacher was truly too generous and had completely won him over. Mu Shi, I also bestow upon you the analysis of the law of water origin, as well as the secret technique, 1000 illusions, plus 1 Hunyuan unit. Thank you, teacher. Mu Shi was equally excited. Although she didn't know what the 1000 illusions secret technique was, the fact that it was bestowed alongside the analysis of the law of water origin meant it was definitely a powerful secret technique. Magic Hammer, what I'm giving you is the analysis of the law of earth origin, 1 Hunyuan unit, and finally the secret technique, 3 styles of heaven opening. However, the 3 styles of heaven opening uses a battle axe. If you prefer using a hammer, then adapt it slightly yourself. I'm sure it won't be difficult given your talent. Nuolan Shan specifically introduced the 3 styles of heaven opening to Magic Hammer. 3 styles of heaven opening. Teacher, this name is so domineering. Is it a secret technique you created yourself? Magic Hammer couldn't help but ask. You could say that. Nuolan Shan shamelessly appointed himself as the author. With such a domineering name, it must be very powerful, right? Magic Hammer asked again. If fully understood, you can challenge those above your level. Wow, so strong. As expected of you, teacher. Magic Hammer said excitedly. Nuolan Shan, Alright, you all may leave. If you have any questions, send me an email. I'll reply if I see it. Yes, teacher. The three left immediately, not wanting to disturb Nuolan Shan's cultivation. Bakalo, you should also hurry and go cultivate. I hope you have a good performance in the strongman battle, Nuolan Shan said to Bakalo. Yes, teacher. Bakalo also withdrew. Ding. Detected that the host has bestowed items upon third-grade genius disciples. Triggering the cashback mechanism. Please check your account. Hearing the system prompt, Nuolan Shan checked his account balance. An additional 300 Hunyuan units had appeared. Sending his consciousness into the world ring, he found 3 sets of notes and 2 secret techniques had been added. The notes were, notes on wood, notes on water, and notes on earth, which could help Nuolan Shan comprehend these 3 laws faster and save some time. The secret techniques were, 1,000 changes and myriad illusions and the latter 6 styles of the 9 styles of heaven opening. 1,000 changes and myriad illusions was still a secret technique for illusionists, which Nuolan Shan didn't care much about. What he valued was the 9 styles of heaven opening. As long as he learned these 9 styles, an undying could fight and exalt, it was an absolute ultimate secret technique. Of course, there was no rush to cultivate the secret techniques now. The most important thing was to cultivate the 9-9 mysterious art, to increase his gene multiplier. Doing so would surely yield twice the result with half the effort when cultivating secret techniques. After making his decision, Nuolan Shan went to the cultivation room and closed the door. He wouldn't emerge until the universe peak strongest battle began. A "do not disturb" sign was hung on the door of the cultivation room. Naturally, the 2 marquee-level Undyings, 13 and Huo Tun, would arrange for guards to watch over the cultivation room and allow no one to approach. Chapter 63, Herod's Legacy. The essence of cultivating the 9-9 mysterious art is actually quite simple, at least for the first 9, it is like this, using external force to brutally activate genes. First is the external training of the muscles, bones, and skin. Nuolan Shan brought out several mechanical puppets used for auxiliary training and ordered them to attack him. Sizzle sizzle sizzle. Nuolan Shan did not resist, and soon his skin was torn and his flesh was a bloody mess. He was a tough guy, even in this state, he didn't even let out a single grunt. After the mechanical puppets stopped, Nuolan Shan began to circulate the 9-9 mysterious art. As the origin energy flowed through his body according to the mysterious roots, the wounds on Nuolan Shan's body healed rapidly. From just this one round, Nuolan Shan felt that his physical body strength had increased somewhat. As expected of the 9-9 mysterious art, again, Nuolan Shan was very satisfied and ordered the mechanical puppets to continue their output. After repeating this hundreds and thousands of times, Nuolan Shan entered the next stage, tempering the will. The 9-9 mysterious art is not just a cultivation technique to enhance the physical body, but an all-around improvement. Otherwise, a situation would arise where the mind cannot keep up with the body. This time, mechanical puppets weren't needed because they couldn't perform mental energy attacks. Nuolan Shan took out a mushroom, more accurately, a poisonous mushroom. After eating this poisonous mushroom, one falls into hallucinations and must achieve mental energy transformation by walking out of the illusion realm and gaining control over their own will. Of course, the poisonous mushroom is the basic version, there are even more lethal poisons to assist in cultivation. This is why the muscles and bones are tempered first, to enhance poison resistance. At the beginning, it was quite easy, and Nuolan Shan split the illusion realm apart with one axe strike. But later it didn't work, he became lost within the illusion realm, which was a desolate wasteland with nothing at all. It wasn't the illusion realm that defeated him, but the loneliness. After all, humans are social animals. Fortunately, this illusion realm was induced by Nuolan Shan's own drugs and had a maximum time limit, plus the AI Ah Fu to wake him up, otherwise, Nuolan Shan really might not have returned. Nuolan Shan opened his clouded eyes and saw the familiar Ah Fu and the familiar cultivation room, and his eyes instantly became clear. I'm back, that's good. Nuolan Shan let out a long sigh of relief. Ah Fu, how much time is left before the strongman battle begins? Nuolan Shan asked. Master, there is 1 day left, Ah Fu replied. Just enough to rest and reorganize. This 9-9 mysterious art is truly difficult to practice. It took several years just to complete the first layer of the first 9, and my gene multiplier increased by 21.5 times. Nuolan Shan couldn't help but remark, though he forgot that this was much more powerful than the 9 tribulations secret scripture. Luo Feng had only reached 24 times when he cultivated to the 4th tribulation. Currently, although Nuolan Shan's realm is only at the universe rank, based on physical body strength alone, he is definitely not weaker than an ordinary world lord. After resting for a while, Nuolan Shan began to process the emails he received during his seclusion. The one who sent the most emails was still Thunder God. He said he had already broken through to the universe rank, mentioned the various dangers he encountered along the way, how he almost died several times, and so on. His words implicitly asked Nuolan Shan to send someone to pick him up. Nuolan Shan replied directly, as long as you're alive, it's fine, if you're dead, then forget it. This made Thunder God so angry that he beat his chest and stomped his feet in the spaceship, cursing loudly. Next was Luo Feng's email. After 3 years of voyaging, Luo Feng had arrived at Primordial Chaos City. He took Nuolan Shan's suggestion. Before meditating on the Chaos Monument, he first went to challenge the Heavenly Bridge. Originally, he could already use the 3rd form of the Yanshen weapon, and after 3 years of cultivation during the journey, he had mastered the 3rd form of the Yanshen weapon even more proficiently. In his first battle on the Heavenly Bridge, Luo Feng passed 3 levels in one go. While this wasn't an unprecedented feat, it was a first in a million eras. Luo Feng not only gained 3 opportunities to meditate on the Chaos Monument but also alerted the Grandmaster of the 9 Universe School, Zhan Yanqing. He didn't secretly guide Luo Feng like in the original story, but appeared directly and took the initiative to express his desire to take Luo Feng as a disciple. Of course, it wasn't just Zhan Yanqing who wanted to take Luo Feng as a disciple. Many champion Undyings wanted to take Luo Feng as a disciple, including Zhan Yanqing's good friend, Black Mist King. While they were vying to choose Luo Feng as a disciple, Luo Feng also called Nuolan Shan to ask for his opinion, but Nuolan Shan was in seclusion and didn't answer, so Luo Feng sent an email to Nuolan Shan to ask. After 28 days of meditating on the Chaos Monument, Nuolan Shan still hadn't replied, so Luo Feng, under Babata's suggestion, chose to take the strongest champion Undying, Zhan Yanqing, as his master. It really is historical inevitability. I didn't expect Luo Feng would still take Zhan Yanqing as his master. Seeing the content of the email, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but smile. Nuolan Shan continued reading. Luo Feng meditated on the 9 Universe Chaos Monument for 28 consecutive days and gained deep insights. Combined with Zhan Yanqing's personal guidance and the direct teaching of the Floating Blood secret technique, his cultivation could be said to have been fitted with an accelerator. In just half a year, he completely understood the first diagram of the 9 Universe Chaos Monument, the raindrop diagram. Shortly thereafter, he was able to use the 4th form of the Yanshen weapon and clear the 4th level of the Heavenly Bridge. He originally thought Luo Feng would say he had gained a lot from meditating on the Chaos Monument again, but instead saw him mention an even more surprising piece of news. Luo Feng had obtained a legacy. Here, he was immensely grateful to Nuolan Shan because the legacy was hidden within the antique Yanshen weapon. The owner of the legacy was the creator of the Yanshen weapon, a human vassal, an unparalleled powerhouse of the Golden Horned Beast clan, and its strongest elder, Herod. To be able to use the 4th form of the Yanshen weapon at the astral rank, you are truly an unparalleled genius and are qualified to receive my, Herod's, legacy. I am Herod, a universe overlord. I ventured to the original star to break through to the universe lord realm, but fell due to being outnumbered and besieged. My death is just my death, but I truly cannot stop worrying about the Golden Horned Beast clan, and I do not know what will happen to the race after I fall. Since you have obtained my legacy, I hope you will protect my Golden Horned Beast clan after you have completed your studies. Controllers have many mental weapons, but the Yanshen weapon being ranked among the 9 strongest is enough to see Herod's dominance. His legacy is naturally incredibly abundant and powerful. Most importantly, this legacy is extremely compatible with the path Luo Feng wants to take, because Herod also followed the path of the beast god. Luo Feng only later found out that Herod was one of the strongest descendants of the beast god of gold lineage in the elder god cult, with combat power comparable to a universe lord. I didn't expect such an opportunity to be hidden. Can this be considered a lucky find among antiques? Even Nuolan Shan was shocked. After all, in terms of strength alone, Herod was even stronger than the Gamu country lord. Nuolan Shan replied, "Since you have obtained his legacy, once you become powerful in the future, protect the Golden Horned Beast clan. Additionally, the World Lord Bakbi also needs to be generously rewarded. After all, it was because of him that you obtained this legacy." Just after replying, Luo Feng called, and Nuolan Shan immediately answered. Luo Feng said in surprise, "Teacher, you've come out of seclusion." "Yes, I imagine you should be at the universe rank by now. Perhaps your strength has even surpassed mine," Nuolan Shan laughed. "How could that be possible? For teacher to be taken as a disciple by the Gamu country lord, your talent must be above mine." Ha ha ha. Nuolan Shan was quite pleased with this flattery, then said seriously, "All right, time in Primordial Chaos City is precious, cultivate well." After a few words, Nuolan Shan hung up the phone and turned to check the system rebates. Over these years, his 7 disciples' insights into the laws had greatly improved. Luo Feng had the Chaos Monument to meditate on and was in a treasure land like Primordial Chaos City, so there was no need to say more. As for Bacalo, he absorbed the ancestor shaman of Earth Essence blood and comprehended the law of Earth. Magic Hammer also cultivated the law of Earth. Nuolan Shan received the rebates of their law insights, such that his law of Earth caught up and was almost on par with his law of time. Cheating is beautiful, cheating is great. It's just that I have to become proficient with my law insights again. Nuolan Shan rested for less than an hour before diving back into the slaughter battlefield to familiarize himself with his power. A day passed in the blink of an eye, and the Universe Peak Strongest battle officially began. Chapter 64, Everyone Here is Trash. The Universe Peak Strongest battle is held once every 50,000 years, alternating between the Virtual Universe Corporation and the Great Axe Battleground, just like the Genius Battle. This edition of the Strongman Battle is being held by the Virtual Universe Corporation. Its competition format is similar to the Genius Battle, starting with internal screening within each universe country. Each universe country is divided into 100 world zones to determine the top 10,001 participants, followed by arena battles to determine the top 900 for each universe country. Because the first place of each world zone advances directly without participating in the arena battles, that makes 100 people from the 100 world zones. Adding those to the 900, a universe country has a total of 1,000 contestants. Across 1,008 universe countries, a total of 1,008,000 universe-ranked strongmen will compete to determine the top 1,000 who will join the Virtual Universe Corporation. All of this takes place within the virtual universe. This is the biggest difference from the Great Axe Battleground, as it lacks such advanced technology. Therefore, the Genius Battle and Strongman Battle it organizes are fought in reality, with a level of cruelty comparable to the Giant Axe Life-Death Battle. Thus, looking solely at the number of participants, every event organized by the Virtual Universe Corporation has more participants than those of the Great Axe Battleground. However, because members of the Great Axe Battleground are forged through real, life-or-death combat, their explosive combat power is very strong. They can basically handle cross-rank challenges and grow braver with each battle, so in terms of quality, they are completely on par with members of the Virtual Universe Corporation. One can only say that both methods of selecting talent have their own advantages and disadvantages, each having its own merits. For this strongman battle, Nuolan Shan was assigned to the First World Zone. A lizard man flicked his long tongue and said, "Welcome everyone to the current Universe Peak Strongest battle. I am Clock, the host for the First World Zone. Let me reiterate, the strongman battle is different from the Genius Battle. During the preliminary rounds, all viewers can watch videos of the contestants' battles. Of course, as a contestant's points increase, the fee to watch their battle videos also increases. Don't forget to preload your credits, or there's a possibility of interruption at any time. Additionally, the largest betting pool in the entire universe has opened. Viewers can place bets on the contestants they favor. Viewers without contestant data need not worry, because the strongman battle has already begun. Before the outcome is decided, we are all dark horses. After the host finished speaking, he immediately announced the official start of the universe peak strongest battle. Nuolan Shan's figure appeared atop the tallest building in the Eastern District. Looking down from the height, one could see ant-sized figures moving rapidly. What a waste of time. Deep down, Nuolan Shan did not want to participate in the strongman battle, but since his teachers insisted, he had no choice. Since that's the case, I might as well take first place in the first world zone. Nuolan Shan made his decision. According to the competition rules, as long as one takes first place in a world zone, they can directly skip the arena battles and represent the Ganwu Universe country in the competition, with a full 3-year rest period before the competition begins. Nuolan Shan's origin energy erupted. While exposing his position, he shouted to the entire First World Zone, "I am Nuolan Shan, Holy Mentor of the Ganwu Secret Realm. I will kill everyone here. If you are dissatisfied, come and fight me." Everyone in the World Zone who heard his words couldn't help but mock him in their hearts, "Idiot. Even if one is a prodigy, one cannot be this arrogant, they will definitely be attacked by everyone." Not long after Nuolan Shan shouted, 3 people found him. From their tall physiques, it was clear that they were of a high-tier human race bloodline. "So you're the Holy Mentor." The leader looked at Nuolan Shan with contempt. "What I despise most in my life are arrogant guys like you." Ah! Before the leader could finish speaking, he was cleaved by Nuolan Shan with an axe. "Then don't look," Nuolan Shan said coldly. "Idiots like this also came to participate in the strongman battle. Did they really think that being a strongman was determined by the level of one's bloodline? If you're going to fight, just fight. If you're going to kill, just kill. Why the hell are you yapping? Boss, kill." His 2 lackeys saw that their boss was dead and immediately charged at Nuolan Shan, fully unleashing their level 9 domain in an attempt to suppress him. Slash. Nuolan Shan cleaved both of them with just one axe swing. Universe rank trash who hadn't even comprehended a law dared to appear before him. It was truly laughable. Then, let the hunt begin. Nuolan Shan leapt, jumping directly from the 1,000-meter tall building. Yet, despite such a huge drop, he landed on the ground without making a sound. He locked onto a direction and flew over brazenly, activating his axe domain to protect himself from sneak attacks, and fully unleashed the secret technique, 1,000 Illusions. Thump, thump, thump. Wherever Nuolan Shan passed, nothing remained alive. The most terrifying part was that these contestants had all chosen to commit suicide within the illusions. Nuolan Shan's personal points shot up like a rocket, directly reaching first place in the First World Zone. This ranking was visible not only to the audience but also to the contestants. Coupled with Nuolan Shan's initial arrogant words, it quickly attracted the attention of people both inside and outside the venue. The number of viewers watching Nuolan Shan's video outside the venue was the highest among the 100 world zones, but he also received the most negative reviews. Because they had spent money only to see nothing. To date, no one had been able to block Nuolan Shan's illusion attacks, so the scene the audience saw was Nuolan Shan flying in the sky with axe shadow special effects, while his points rose crazily. It was simply baffling. There must be a problem. I'm going to report him. Many people thought this and reported Nuolan Shan for cheating and the like. However, the reply they received was, "The system is operating normally, and contestant Nuolan Shan has shown no signs of violation." Users are requested to observe carefully. There are fools, but naturally there are also smart people who observe carefully. They guessed a slightly more correct answer. Nuolan Shan is a powerful illusionist. There was also one who specialized in illusions during the genius battle, called Phantom Demon Galaxy. This Nuolan Shan's level of illusion is far stronger than Galaxy's. How about the title, Phantom God? That works. Agreed. I support it. Nuolan Shan did not know that in order to kill enemies quickly and gain points, he had been nicknamed Phantom God by meddlesome netizens. If Nuolan Shan knew, he would definitely laugh his head off, because illusions were the weakest of all his methods. The only reason he used illusions was that they were more effective for group attacks. We can't let him keep killing like this. We must unite and take him out first, otherwise we won't even have the qualifications to pass the preliminary rounds. Some strongmen walked together tacitly, preparing to unite to kick the madman Nuolan Shan out of the game. Stop talking nonsense and let's discuss tactics. He is an illusionist. Who among you is proficient in illusions? Work together to restrain him, then the martial artists will press forward and finish him off. Can do. I have a set of mental combo secret techniques here. Let the illusionists familiarize themselves with it. It would be best if we could directly destroy him with illusions. Great, this way we will definitely win. Take out that arrogant guy. Everyone was filled with high battle intent, joy showing on their faces, as if Nuolan Shan had already been slain by them. I heard you want to take me out. Nuolan Shan's voice sounded in everyone's ears like a ghost. Chapter 65, Slaughter the World. Kill. They were all universe-level geniuses. Their reactions were swift as they drew their weapons to attack Nuolan Shan, while illusionists also cast illusionary secret techniques at him. Hey, besieging me. You're not worthy. Nuolan Shan smiled contemptuously, a light flashing in his eyes. Oh no, it's an illusion. Ah, why can't my soul defense secret technique block it? Damn it. Ha ha ha. I killed Nuolan Shan. I killed Nuolan Shan. Hee hee hee. Chi-chi. In almost an instant, everyone present who planned to besiege Nuolan Shan was dead. They didn't even have time to learn that soul combined attack secret technique, especially those psyker masters proficient in illusions. Even if they realized they were caught in an illusion, they still chose to commit suicide because they couldn't escape. Nuolan Shan thought to himself, the 9-9 mysterious art is truly profound. I've barely practiced illusions these past years, yet because I've completed the first layer of the first stage, my illusions have reached this level. At this moment, the audience watching his battle was stunned. Holy crap, this is too strong. What exactly is his background? Are instructors from the Ganwu secret realm all this strong? According to the data I found, he's clearly supposed to be a martial artist. He definitely hid his strength before. Why is his clearance so high that things after the Ganwu secret realm can't be searched? The Ganwu country lord and many other country lords were also watching Nuolan Shan, smiling with great satisfaction at his dominant performance. That's it, let the whole universe see your talent. Your rise will be unstoppable. It's been too long since a genius like you appeared in the human race. Seeing Nuolan Shan increase his points so rapidly, the other contestants realized the plan to kill him had failed. While feeling relieved they hadn't gotten involved, they all made a decision: they had to get the most points in the shortest time possible, as there was no telling when Nuolan Shan might come for them. As for hiding until the match ended, sorry, this wasn't a game of hide and seek, but a competition decided by points. The geniuses the Virtual Universe Corporation and the Great Axe Battleground wanted to cultivate were geniuses at killing enemies, not geniuses at hiding. Kill. The already panicked First World Zone fell into a frenzy. Battles broke out in every corner, and the once beautiful virtual world became riddled with scars. Faced with this situation, Nuolan Shan was in no hurry, instead, strolling forward as if walking through a garden. As the saying goes, fatten the pigs before slaughtering them. A full day later, Nuolan Shan began to exert his strength again, and indeed, the point rewards from this hunt doubled. His first place in the World Zone was a full 100 million points higher than the second place. This was a massive lead. One could say even if Nuolan Shan went offline right now, he would still firmly hold the top spot in the First World Zone. But Nuolan Shan was a man of his word. When he said he would kill everyone, he would kill everyone. Nuolan Shan was surrounded by corpses, yet not a single drop of blood stained him. Killing with illusions was just that elegant. Who else? Nuolan Shan's voice echoed throughout the World Zone, but there was no response. At this moment, the Virtual Universe Corporation AI spoke, detected that only one person remains in the First World Zone. The First World Zone competition has ended and will now close early. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. In reality, all the spectators and trillions of universe citizens excitedly counted down along with the Virtual Universe Corporation AI. 7, 6, 5. 1. This wasn't just Nuolan Shan's victory, it was their victory. After the world zone closed, Nuolan Shan's consciousness returned to reality. The level of this session is still too weak, it's truly disappointing. Nuolan Shan shook his head disinterestedly, even winning first place in the world zone didn't bring him any joy. These contestants were the talents of the Gamu Universe country, but they were so lackluster that he, as the disciple of the Gamu country lord and the crown prince of the Gamu Universe country, was very dissatisfied. Welcome to the slaughter battlefield. Nuolan Shan soon entered the slaughter battlefield again to familiarize himself with his power, while also sparing a thread of consciousness to monitor his disciple's progress. With 1 day left in the qualifiers, Bakalo's rank was 1000th in the 3rd world zone, and Kangwu's rank was 500th in the 6th world zone. As for Thunder God's rank, it was over 20 millionth in the 100th world zone and was still dropping rapidly. He had been eliminated long ago. This couldn't be helped. Thunder God had only recently broken through to Universe Level 1 and had cultivated for less than 100 years. How could he compare to those Universe Level 9 geniuses who had cultivated for tens of thousands of years? However, Thunder God wasn't discouraged because he had joined this strongman battle with the intention of gaining experience. But when he saw Nuolan Shan slaughter his way through the 1st world zone and end the match a day early, the shock in his heart was beyond words. Lord Wu, is my teacher even human? Thunder God said, questioning life. Human. Heavens, didn't you see the title the virtual universe gave him? Illusion God. He's a god. Kid, you've really hit the jackpot to be able to take such a person as your teacher, Lord Wu remarked with emotion. Then how does my teacher compare to World Lord Kabu? Thunder God asked curiously. They're about the same. Your teacher is 8 tails of gold, and my master is half a catty of scrap iron, Lord Wu said bluntly. First time I've heard you speak ill of World Lord Kabu. Bullshit. If my master were still alive and heard me evaluate him like this, he would definitely be very happy. You have to know that's the universe peak strongest battle, not the genius battle. The weight of the two is on completely different levels. I even suspect that if Lord Nuolan Shan erupted with his full strength, he might not be inferior to my master. Lord Wu said excitedly. That's an exaggeration, right? Teacher Nuolan Shan is only at the universe level. No matter how much of a genius he is, he can't cross 2 major realms. How old are you to dare talk about geniuses? Just watch, your teacher will definitely become a legend. His minimum achievement will be at the level of a universe country lord. Lord Wu looked down on Thunder God while highly praising Nuolan Shan. Really? Ha ha ha. Thunder God laughed loudly like a spoiled heir with his hands on his hips. It doesn't matter if I'm weak, my teacher is strong. I have a backer now. After the qualifiers ended, Bakalo and Kangwu both secured their spots. In particular, Kangwu directly took first place in his world zone, so he didn't even need to fight in the arena matches. This was normal. After all, Kangwu was originally the #1 universe-level genius in the Gamu secret realm. Taking first place in a world zone of the Gamu universe country was quite easy for him. He just couldn't be as monstrous as Nuolan Shan, who slaughtered everyone and ended the match early. The 3-legged golden crow clone is about to break through to Domain Lord. Nuolan Shan was fighting in the slaughter battlefield when he suddenly sensed movement from the 3-legged golden crow's side. It looked like it was about to break through to Domain Lord. Nuolan Shan was already this strong now. As the 3-legged golden crow broke through to Domain Lord, his strength would inevitably reach a higher level. Nuolan Shan ended his training and focused his consciousness on the 3-legged golden crow clone. Chapter 66, Desperate Level Mission. The 3-legged golden crow, resembling a fiery red sun, slowly unfurled its flaming wings. Simultaneously, its entire body began to undergo a startling transformation. A vast amount of red mist descended from the depths of the universe, enveloping the surface of the 3-legged golden crow's flaming wings and being continuously absorbed. As it absorbed the mist, its entire body expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. Its 3 claws also became thicker and sharper. The fiery red secret patterns that covered its body like armor also changed, becoming even more profound and unpredictable. Not just its appearance, but every inch of the three-legged golden crow's bones and every single cell underwent a metamorphosis. Nuolan Shan could feel the three-legged golden crow's genetic multiplier rapidly rising. This was much faster than his own painstaking cultivation of the 9-9 mysterious art. It truly was a case of, comparing goods makes you want to throw them away, and comparing people makes you want to die. These special lifeforms were simply unreasonable, receiving far too much favoritism from the universe. Scree! The three-legged golden crow let out a jubilant cry, announcing its formal breakthrough to the territory lord rank. It cast a glance toward the Gamu secret realm and flapped its wings, departing to find another star for secluded cultivation. This time, it intended not only to stabilize its territory lord rank realm but also to break through to the 9th level of the territory lord rank in one go. The resources I gave the three-legged golden crow are a bit insufficient. It seems that after the genius battle ends, I'll need to send him another batch. Nuolan Shan estimated that the resources he had provided would at most allow it to reach the 9th level of the territory lord rank, at which point it would run out. The three-legged golden crow's breakthrough caused Nuolan Shan's comprehension of the law of fire and the law of time to increase once again, and his genetic multiplier also enhanced tenfold. Nuolan Shan's original body's current power had already far exceeded the scope of the universe rank. At the same time, another disciple slot was unlocked, allowing him to activate even more cheats. Forget it, always fighting in the slaughter battlefield lacks a bit of bloodthirst. I should take on a few trial missions from the Gamu secret realm. It's been a long time since I've seen blood, my axe is almost getting rusty. Nuolan Shan decided to take on trial missions for a change of pace, no longer immersing himself solely in the virtual world. The trial missions of the Gamu secret realm were not as grand as those of the Virtual Universe Corporation. They weren't scattered across the universe but were instead concentrated within the Gamu secret realm itself. The trial missions were categorized as safe level, normal level, hard level, dangerous level, and desperate level. The safe level had a 0% mortality rate, while the desperate level had a mortality rate as high as 90%. Nuolan Shan clicked on the desperate level trial missions without the slightest hesitation. He possessed a clone. If he didn't even dare to take on a desperate level trial mission, then he would be a coward. There weren't many desperate level missions in the Gamu secret realm, there was only one, braving the Zishuan realm. The trial mission was very simple, just come out of the Zishuan realm alive. There wasn't even a time limit. As long as one could emerge alive, they would be rewarded with 500,000 points. However, information regarding the Zishuan realm was a complete blank, everything had to be explored by oneself. This was precisely why it was a desperate level mission. Rumble. As the door to the cultivation room opened, Nuolan Shan stepped out for the first time in many years. Congratulations, Your Highness, on seizing first place in the First World Zone. Upon seeing Nuolan Shan emerge, the 13th Divine General immediately stepped forward to offer his congratulations. 13th Divine General, you're teasing me. Nuolan Shan joked. As the disciple of a Grand Universe Country Lord, if he couldn't even secure first place in a world zone, he might as well end his own life to thank his teacher for his kindness. It was a slip of the tongue by this subordinate. The 13th Divine General apologized, realizing the issue with his words. Ha ha ha, the 4th Divine General laughed heartily. I told you, little 13, that you love to suck up. This time you slapped the horse's hoof instead of its rump. Flattery is, after all, a minor path. You too, I have accepted a desperate level trial mission. Please take me there, Nuolan Shan said. Desperate level. Your Highness, does the country lord know about this? 13 asked worriedly. Although he acknowledged Nuolan Shan's talent, that was, after all, a desperate level mission with a mortality rate as high as 90%. And according to the rules of the Gamu secret realm, when any member participated in a trial mission, the guard detail could not enter to protect them, the member had to rely on themselves. If someone provided protection along the way, the trial would lose its meaning. If anything happened to Nuolan Shan in the secret realm, even as a divine general, he would face severe punishment. Having followed the Gamu country lord for many years, he knew how much the lord valued Nuolan Shan. he was absolutely the most favored disciple, without exception. I haven't notified teacher. Nuolan Shan shook his head. Please forgive me, Your Highness, but this matter is of great importance. I must report it to the country lord, the 13th Divine General said apologetically. Indeed, Your Highness, your life is very precious. The 4th Divine General surprisingly took the 13th Divine General's side. Very well, but I think teacher won't stop me, Nuolan Shan said confidently. After all, the Gamu country lord knew he had a clone. Even if he were killed in the trial mission, he wouldn't truly die. And sure enough, after the 13th Divine General requested instructions from the Gamu country lord, the reply he received was, "Let him go." The country lord has agreed. Please take my hand, Your Highness, I will take you to the entrance of the mission world now. The 13th Divine General extended his hand. Nuolan Shan placed his hand on it, and in the next second, he appeared at a barrier entrance, the world entrance the 13th Divine General had mentioned. 13th Divine General, any tips for me? Nuolan Shan asked. Going in completely blind would make it truly difficult to complete the trial mission, especially since he had to participate in the universe peak strongest battle in 3 years. Leaving the Zishuan realm requires a key, the 13th Divine General said. What key? Where is it? What does it look like? Nuolan Shan asked in quick succession. Apologies, I can only say this much. It's getting late, Your Highness should head inside quickly, the 13th Divine General said unsmilingly. All right then. Nuolan Shan was helpless. He stepped into the world entrance, and instantly felt the world spinning. This was no mere entrance, it was clearly a teleportation array. The 4th Divine General and the 13th Divine General watched Nuolan Shan disappear. The 13th Divine General said, "Fourth brother, want to make a bet?" Bet on what? How? The 4th Divine General asked. The 13th Divine General said, "Let's bet on how long it takes for His Highness to come out. The stake will be that gourd of flame wine of yours." You bastard, I knew you'd been eyeing my flame wine for a long time. The 4th Divine General was instantly enraged. Flame wine was his unique recipe, brewed with a lot of effort, he usually couldn't even bear to drink it himself. If I lose, I'll give you this set of armor, the 13th Divine General said. For real. The 4th Divine General couldn't quite believe it. The 13th Divine General's armor was a heavy treasure, and a defensive one at that. Its value was far greater than the flame wine. Fourth brother doesn't trust my character. While you're good at flattery, your character is actually decent. Then it's a bet. Since your stake is more valuable, you go first. The 4th Divine General decided to take the gamble. The 13th Divine General said, I bet His Highness will walk out of the Zishuan realm within 2 years. The 4th Divine General said, though His Highness's talent is peerless, that is the Zishuan realm with a 90% mortality rate. The fastest record by a previous genius was 10 years, 2 years is too exaggerated. I bet he takes 5 years to come out. Good, the bet is set. Let's sit and wait for the result. Fine. With that, the two of them actually sat down in front of the entrance to the Zishuan realm. Chapter 67, Yanjing City. When Nuolan Shan landed and steadied himself, he found himself atop a mountain peak. Gazing out from the summit, he could see a city in the distance. The architectural style of the city was completely different from the Gamu secret realm, instead resembling ancient Earth with its antique charm. 3 large characters, Yanjing City, were written on the city gate tower. Such thin universe energy. Nuolan Shan sensed the universe energy around him, it was appallingly low. Nuolan Shan turned his gaze to the south, he could sense that the universe energy across the sea was extremely dense. This vast ocean separated ordinary people from the powerful. I suppose Teacher Gamu must have modified this world, otherwise, there shouldn't be such a massive disparity in universe energy within the same world. But this is for the best, it makes gathering information easier. I'll enter the city to collect some intel first. Since this is a trial grounds, there should be many people or events that differ from this world. Nuolan Shan thought for a moment and decided to enter the city to scout for information. To this end, he specifically cast an illusion on himself to make him look like a person of this world. He took the form of a middle-aged man with a square face, tall and handsome. Not long after, he appeared in the largest restaurant in the city. Based on his past experience, this was the most convenient channel for gathering information. Of course, only basic information could be gathered here, but that was exactly what Nuolan Shan needed right now, as he currently knew nothing about the Zishuan realm. "Guest, all the dishes you ordered have arrived. Please enjoy your meal," the waiter said. Fortunately, he spoke the universe common language, which Nuolan Shan understood, so he didn't have to spend time learning a new language. "Thank you. I've just arrived. Would it be convenient to tell me about the local customs, historical sites, or extraordinary people and events of Yanjing City? I'm curious about everything and would like to hear it all," Nuolan Shan said to the waiter. "This, guest, I'm still busy. If you want to know so much, it would take at least an hour or two to finish," the waiter hesitated before refusing. If Nuolan Shan had only asked where to find entertainment, a quick answer wouldn't have taken much time, but inquiring about so many things would be too much of a delay, and his wages might be docked. "I have plenty of time," Nuolan Shan said as he placed a gold bean on the table. "Since you wish to hear it, guest, I will tell you in detail." The waiter calmly picked up the gold bean and tucked it into his robe. As the saying goes, money makes the world go round. Besides, one works to earn money, no one makes selfless sacrifices out of a pure love for labor. Having received the gold bean, the waiter began to chatter incessantly. Yanjing City had a long history with countless historical sites, such as this, that, and the other. The greatest power was naturally the Zhendong Prince's mansion. Prince Zhendong, Chinda, was a prince of a different surname who held 3 counties. The best and largest residence in the city was the Zhendong Prince's mansion. As for anecdotes about famous people, there were plenty, such as. After the waiter's explanation, Nuolan Shan gained a general understanding of this Zishuan realm. They called their world the Hidden Dragon Continent, which was divided into 3 dynasties. These 3 dynasties were Chu, Han, and Ming. The Yanjing city where Nuolan Shan was currently located belonged to the territory of the Chu kingdom. They also practiced cultivation. According to what the waiter knew, strength was divided into 2 major realms, acquired and innate. Prince Zhendong was an innate expert. Speaking of Prince Zhendong, the waiter felt both fear and admiration, along with a touch of respect and love. It seemed Prince Zhendong was deeply popular. Having mastered both kindness and authority. "Thank you, I have a general idea now and will certainly take a good look around. By the way, which way to the Zhendong Prince's mansion?" Nuolan Shan decided to visit the Zhendong Prince's mansion. Since it was the greatest power in the 3 counties, its channels for information and the secret intelligence it could obtain should be the most comprehensive. Since this was a desperate level mission, the clues to leaving must be hidden within those pieces of secret information. "You must be going to apply for the position of Martial Master at the Prince's mansion. I can tell you're no ordinary person, you'll definitely succeed. The Zhendong Prince's mansion is right over there." The waiter pointed the way for Nuolan Shan while sycophantically flattering him. "I'll take your word for it then." In a good mood, Nuolan Shan gave the waiter another gold bean, then wiped his mouth and walked out of the restaurant. Before he had gone far, Nuolan Shan heard the female proprietor of the restaurant grab the waiter, telling him to hand over the gold beans given by the guest for public funds. Nuolan Shan smiled faintly. No wonder no one had come to urge the waiter to get back to work for so long. The proprietor had been waiting to do this all along. However, those were the shop's rules, and it was none of Nuolan Shan's business. If one lacked the ability to protect their money, then they shouldn't have it. He wouldn't interfere and instead walked straight toward the Zhendong Prince's mansion. The Zhendong Prince's mansion occupied a vast area, and its main gate was incredibly wide, enough for 6 or 7 people to enter side by side. On either side of the gate stood 2 valiant men about 2 meters tall with bare upper bodies. These 2 men were like stone carvings, their cold eyes scanning the passing crowd, with giant blood-red battle sabers hanging on their broad backs. The blood-red battle sabers appeared to be a full 1.5 meters long. At a glance, it was deep winter, snow covered the ground, and the temperature was terrifyingly low. The river had already frozen over, yet these 2 men were bare-chested. However, this was not the most shocking part. Even more startling was that a fierce tiger lay beside each of the 2 men. The tigers were flame red all over, about 2 meters long. Their tails, like iron whips, caused the air to vibrate with a sudden sweep, and a cold glint emanated from their eyes. These tigers were the so-called blazing tigers. With a sweep of his mental power, Nuolan Shan confirmed their strength, apprentice level, which was the acquired realm in the Zishuan realm. Therefore, the so-called innate realm strength should correspond to the planetary level. To reach the innate realm under such thin universe energy, one must be a person of great opportunity and perseverance, similar to Hong and Thunder God on Earth. However, before Luo Feng, Earth's strongest combatants were only Hong and Thunder God. Presumably, there wouldn't be many innate experts in the Chu Kingdom either. In that case, Nuolan Shan was incredibly safe. He could destroy the entire Chu Kingdom with a single hand. It was hard to say about the other side of the sea, though, perhaps there were even undying beings there. Roar. As Nuolan Shan approached, the 2 blazing tigers suddenly sat up and roared at him. Nuolan Shan frowned slightly, and a light flashed in his eyes. The blazing tigers suddenly became as docile as lapdogs. Not only did their ferocity vanish, but they even wagged their tails at him. Who goes there? The 2 burly gatekeepers were not as sensible as the blazing tigers. Seeing Nuolan Shan continue to approach, they both unsheathed the blood-red battle sabers from their backs, their bodies erupting with a blood-colored aura. Judging by their demeanor, they were definitely veterans who had fought 100 battles on the battlefield. Chapter 68, Cold Sweat. Nuolan Shan stopped in his tracks, not out of fear, but because he was contemplating exactly how much force to use to knock these 2 down. After all, it had been tens of thousands of years since he last fought a mortal. A simple flick of the finger might literally send their heads flying. Though he was decisive in killing, he didn't kill people indiscriminately. After all, they were just doing their duty. Suddenly, 2 more burly men walked out from Prince Zhendong's manor. They were also bare-chested, each leading a fierce, blazing tiger. To be honest, Nuolan Shan really couldn't appreciate the aesthetics of the Zishuan realm. Surely a manor as grand as a princess could afford uniforms for its guards. What happened? One of the burly men with chest hair asked. 6th brother. This person approached the manor, origin unknown, the burly man without chest hair replied. Did you ask him? The hairy man questioned. No. The hairless man shook his head, realizing he had indeed forgotten to ask. But there was a reason. The blazing tiger had just roared, though for some reason, it was now as docile as a lapdog. Your Excellency is here to apply for the position of Martial Master, right? The hairy man asked with a cupped fist salute. Martial Master. The waiter earlier had indeed mentioned that the Prince Zhendong's manor was hiring martial masters. Yes, Nuolan Shan replied casually. Welcome, welcome. Our prince is thirsty for talent. Please follow me this way. The hairy man led Nuolan Shan into the manor, tilting his head at the hairless man as if to say, watch and learn, even guarding a gate requires skill. Those who should be driven away are driven away, and those who should be welcomed in are welcomed in. What is your Excellency's surname, and how should I address you? The hairy man asked. Nuolan Shan originally wanted to say his name was Nuolan Shan, but on second thought, the name was quite strange and didn't even sound like a proper surname. In an alien world, it was better to use a local name. My name is Lei Wei. Brother Lei Wei, I am Wang Lu. Judging by your aura, you must be at the late stage of the acquired realm, Wang Lu guessed. Something like that. Nuolan Shan brushed him off. Wang Lu said, to apply as a martial master for the manor, you need to show your skills. If you're good with strength, there are stone locks over there. If speed is your forte, there's a track, and if you're good with hidden weapons, there are pigeons as targets. What are you good at, brother? I know a little of everything. Nuolan Shan knew every law, so it wasn't just a little of everything. I didn't expect you to be a polymath, brother. Our manor needs talents like you. Old Zhong, we've got work. Wang Lu brought Nuolan Shan to a training field and shouted at the top of his lungs. Stop shouting, stop shouting. You nearly yelled my soul right out. Someone's here to apply for martial master. A thin, withered old man walked impatiently out of a small room in the corner of the training field. Yes, I'm handing him over to you. I have to go back for my shift change. Wang Lu turned to Nuolan Shan and said, Brother Lei Wei, perform well. I'm off. Nuolan Shan nodded, watching Wang Lu leave. Lei Wei, is it? Let me see your strength then. There are stone locks over there. Lift the heaviest one you can, Old Zhang said. Nuolan Shan looked where Old Zhang pointed and saw a row of stone locks of varying sizes lined up in a corner of the training field. Nuolan Shan walked over, chose the heaviest 1000 jin stone lock, and lifted it using only his index finger. Gulp. That was the sound of Old Zhang swallowing his saliva. That was 1000 jin stone lock. One must know that even for a martial artist at the late stage of the acquired realm, their strength was only around 600 to 800 jin, and they could barely reach 1000 jin under full explosive power. Seeing how effortlessly Nuolan Shan lifted it, it was clearly not the result of an explosive burst. An absurd thought appeared in Old Zhang's mind, an innate realm martial artist. Impossible, absolutely impossible. One must know that even in their vast prince's manor, innate experts could be counted on one hand. It was even said that in the entire Great Chu, there were fewer than 100 innate experts. Old Zhang didn't know how to proceed. He was just a small character responsible for testing, he had no right to receive such a figure. Nuolan Shan smiled because he knew his display just now was too heaven-defying and had stunned the man. How about finding someone who can make the decisions? Nuolan Shan reminded him. Please wait a moment, just a moment. Old Zhang dashed off with a whoosh. Before long, Nuolan Shan sensed 2 planetary-level auras heading his way. A master and a servant arrived. The master was full of dominance, while the servant was kind and approachable. Mr. Lei Wei, I, Qinda, offer my greetings. Upon meeting, the noble Prince Qinda was the first to cup his hands toward Nuolan Shan. Because he couldn't see through Nuolan Shan's depth, it meant Nuolan Shan was at least an innate expert. Greetings, Nuolan Shan returned the gesture, mimicking Qinda's manner. I heard you are here to apply as a martial master. I wonder if you would care to spar with my steward. Qinda said. As the prince pleases, Nuolan Shan said indifferently. This was unavoidable, he had to show his strength before he could get others to do things for him. Qinda nodded slightly and gave a look to the steward behind him. The steward stepped forward, cupped his fists, and said, Lian Yan, at your service. After speaking, the old steward attacked Nuolan Shan. He used a claw technique, which, combined with his movement technique, was incredibly swift, like a hawk pouncing on its prey. Nuolan Shan gave a disdainful smile. He also curved his fingers into a claw and attacked, suppressing his strength again and again. Crack! The old steward's left hand broke. As heaven is his witness, Nuolan Shan really had controlled his strength, but his physical toughness was right there. It was like an ordinary person kicking a stone pillar. The pillar didn't move, but the person would scream in pain. Hiss! Qinda sucked in a breath of cold air. He knew Lian Yan's strength perfectly well, it could be said he was not at all inferior to himself, yet his hand was broken in just one exchange. What a powerful innate expert of external arts. Shall we continue? Nuolan Shan asked, standing with his hands behind his back. Let's try weapons. Unexpectedly, Lian Yan, despite his broken hand, had a tenacious fighting spirit and wanted to spar with weapons. He chose a steel saber, while Nuolan Shan chose an iron axe. Whoosh! Clearly, compared to claw techniques, Lian Yan was more proficient in saber techniques. He swung it with great vigor, and he could even release saber chi that extended several inches from the blade. In contrast, Nuolan Shan's axe technique had no such fancy variations, because an axe was all about heavy power and overwhelming the opponent with momentum. Break! With one swing of the axe, Nuolan Shan directly split Lian Yan's protective aura and sent him flying several meters away. Looking at the axe in his hand, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but complain in his heart, apprentice level is so weak. Even though I controlled my strength, he's still so fragile. Ha ha ha, Mr. Lei, welcome to the Prince Zhendong's manor, Qinda said with a laugh. However, at that moment, Lian Yan's voice transmission sounded in his mind. Prince, this person is by no means an ordinary martial artist. With his identity unknown, we must not rashly take him into the manor. Before Chinda could reply, Nuolan Shan's voice rang out in both of their minds, frightening them so much that they broke out in a cold sweat. Chapter 69, First Class Genius. Nuolan Shan spoke, "No need to be nervous. I have no ill intentions, otherwise, I could easily wipe out this entire prince's mansion." Nuolan Shan's words weren't arrogance, but a statement of indisputable fact. In an instant, cold sweat poured down Chinda and Lian Yan's faces. Eavesdropping via voice transmission was a technique only cultivators could achieve, and to a martial artist, those high and mighty cultivators were like gods. Just as Nuolan Shan said, it would be effortless for a cultivator to destroy the prince's mansion. "Forgive me, immortal. This humble prince never had such thoughts. You are an honored guest of my mansion," Chinda said in fear and trepidation. He was now certain that Nuolan Shan was a cultivator from across the sea, the immortal, spoken of by mortals. "Don't be tense. I am merely traveling through and wished to ask the prince a few questions," Nuolan Shan said to soothe them. Yes. Please ask anything, immortal. This humble prince will tell you everything I know." Chinda immediately expressed his full cooperation. "How much do you know about this world, and do you know how to leave it?" Nuolan Shan asked directly. Chinda's head was filled with question marks. What did he mean by this world, and what did he mean by leaving? Sigh, Nuolan Shan sighed. Indeed, he was just a mere planetary level. How could he have access to things of that level? "How about this? Find me all the books recording myths, legends, and strange occurrences. History books will do as well." Nuolan Shan decided to find clues between the lines. After all, this was a trial grounds, and there were bound to be many traces left by previous trial takers. The strength of a trial taker would certainly be godlike in the Chu kingdom. Perhaps he could find shadows of them in myths and stories. "Yes. Please move to the guest rooms, immortal. I will immediately order my men to collect the books." Chinda made a gesture of invitation. Nuolan Shan nodded indifferently. He hadn't originally intended to show off his divinity, but compared to mortals, he was simply too strong. He couldn't hide it even if he tried. Perhaps this was the burden of excellence. Although Chinda said he was taking Nuolan Shan to the guest rooms, it was actually an elegant small courtyard, the most luxurious place in the prince's mansion. As the immortal satisfied with these surroundings, Chinda asked, "Not bad. You may go, I will wait for you." Nuolan Shan was not polite at all, acting as if he were the master of the place. "Very well." Chinda then ordered the maids, "Serve the immortal well, or your lives will be forfeit." "Yes, prince." The maids answered tremulously, their pitiful appearances quite pleasing to the eye. Nuolan Shan remained unmoved, merely sipping his tea unhurriedly. Chinda worked efficiently and returned shortly. Besides several crates of books, he brought a child about 5 or 6 years old. The child was adorable, his large black eyes sizing up Nuolan Shan with curiosity. His name was Qin Yu, the third son of Chinda. Before coming, Chinda had instructed him not to speak and only to stand quietly by his side. "Immortal, these are the books you required. At the moment, these are all we have in the mansion, but I have ordered men to search the noble families for more. I believe they will be delivered in a few days," Chinda reported. However, Nuolan Shan did not look at the books. Instead, his gaze was fixed on little Qin Yu. Because just now, a system notification rang in Nuolan Shan's mind. Open black lens bracket first class genius detected. Suggesting host take him as a disciple. Close black lens bracket. A first class genius. Even Luo Feng could only be considered a second class genius right now. Nuolan Shan never expected to encounter a first class genius in a tiny trial world. A first class genius meant a 10,000-fold return. I've struck it rich, I've struck it rich. Ha ha ha. Immortal, this is my son, Qin Yu. Seeing Nuolan Shan's gaze fixed on Qin Yu, Chinda hurried to introduce him. Qin Yu, you really are cute. Here is a meeting gift for you. Nuolan Shan flipped his hand, and a jade pendant appeared in his palm. It was a protective jade pendant crafted by Nuolan Shan himself. As long as the owner faced a life or death crisis, the protective jade would activate and deliver a fatal blow to the enemy. Furthermore, this pendant was not a single-use item, it was a high-end product that could protect its owner 10 times. Nuolan Shan was already starting to worry about Qin Yu's safety. Hurry and thank the immortal. Qinda quickly pressed down on Qin Yu's head to bow to Nuolan Shan. Thank you, immortal. Qin Yu thanked him obediently and took the jade pendant. Immortal, my child's physique is very strange. After spiritual qi enters his dantian, it dissipates in an instant, as if his dantian were a funnel. I take the liberty to ask the immortal to take a look, Qinda requested, taking advantage of the fact that Nuolan Shan seemed to like Qin Yu. As for the spiritual qi Qinda spoke of, it was actually universe energy, they were just different names in 2 different worlds. Oh, how strange. Xiao Yu, absorb some spiritual qi and let me see, Nuolan Shan said with a frown. Even in the vast universe, he had never heard of such a physique. Yuer, quickly, cultivate the family technique I taught you before, Qinda urged. He had 3 sons. His eldest son had extremely high talent in martial arts, and his second son was skilled in political maneuvering. Only this third son was neither good at literature nor martial arts. He had even decided to send him to Yunwu Villa to keep him away from the prince's mansion. Since he couldn't help, it was better not to let him get involved, and not let him become a burden and a weakness for the entire family. This wasn't being cold-hearted, it was a decision a clan chief had to make, as it concerned the lives of the entire clan. Qin Yu was very obedient. He sat down cross-legged on the spot and began to circulate the family cultivation technique. Spiritual qi was drawn in by the technique, entering his body through his limbs and bones. But when Qin Yu used his will to guide the spiritual qi into his dantian, it vanished instantly. Just as Qinda said, Qin Yu's dantian was like a funnel, it simply could not store spiritual qi. Immortal, do you see any way to repair Yuer's dantian? Qinda asked anxiously. Stupid. Utterly foolish. Nuolan Shan cursed. Repair the dantian so Qin Yu could cultivate like a normal person. That was putting the cart before the horse, completely nonsensical and utterly foolish. What kind of physique was this? This was a protagonist physique. After the universe energy was absorbed into the body, although it couldn't be stored in the dantian, it didn't disappear. Instead, this unique dantian distributed the universe energy evenly to every cell in his body. What did this mean? What did this mean? It meant physical transformation, genetic transformation. One could say that by relying on just the simplest breathing technique, the cultivation effect he could achieve was already no less than the 9 tribulations secret scripture. That was a divine physique that could transcend the limits of the primordial universe, a physique Nuolan Shan could only dream of. No wonder the system judged Qin Yu to be a first-class genius. It was just that the number of cells in the body was too vast, and the concentration of universe energy in the Chu kingdom was too low, so the effects weren't visible in the short term. Without a psyker master in the entire prince's mansion, it was impossible to tell. If Qin Yu were in the universe, his future would be limitless. With a famous teacher's guidance, he would surely soar to the heavens. Nuolan Shan's eyes gleamed with greed as he looked at Qin Yu, and his breathing couldn't help but quicken. At this moment, the thought of possession of Qin Yu arose in his mind. In the secret technique Thousand Changes and Myriad Illusions, there was a profound possession technique that could perfectly possess Qin Yu without damaging his foundation. Chapter 70. Screw your ancestors. Phew. Nuolan Shan let out a long sigh, finally suppressing the urge in his heart. For one, this method wasn't ideal. If he wanted to perform possession every time he saw a good physique, wouldn't he be doing it every day without end? Secondly, Nuolan Shan wasn't sure if the system would still be there after he possessed Qin Yu. He couldn't give up the entire forest for a single leaf. Qin Yu, are you willing to take me as your master? Nuolan Shan asked kindly. Qin Yu didn't answer, but instead turned to look at his father, Qinda. Qinda was overjoyed and said, for Yuer to be able to take an immortal as his master is a blessing he's earned over 10 lifetimes. Yuer, hurry and kowtow to your master. He was preparing to rebel. Currently, the prince's mansion only had 1 cultivator supporting them, and they couldn't defeat the Chu kingdom's imperial family. If Nuolan Shan were added, defeating the Chu imperial family would be a breeze, and there would be hope for the family's revival. Oh, little Qin Yu obediently kowtowed to Nuolan Shan, the thud sounding very sincere. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect to gain such a fine disciple this time. It's truly an unexpected joy. Nuolan Shan laughed happily. At the same time, the system notification sounded in Nuolan Shan's mind. System, detected that the host has taken the first-class genius Qin Yu as a disciple. Would you like to bind? Bind. Nuolan Shan chose to bind without hesitation, even with a hint of urgency. Binding successful. Congratulations to the host for a significant increase in body refining talent. The sweet voice echoed in Nuolan Shan's mind, especially the word, significant. One should know that the geniuses bound before didn't have those words. Prince, please see yourself out. You will stay here with me. Nuolan Shan unceremoniously issued an order to leave. Yes, this humble prince shall take his leave. Qin De left the small courtyard happily, leaving only little Qin Yu standing there, somewhat at a loss. At this point, Nuolan Shan was no longer in a hurry to complete the trial mission. He wanted to carefully polish this unpolished jade, Qin Yu. After all, an increase in Qin Yu's strength meant an increase in his own. Nuolan Shan said to Qin Yu, from today onwards, you will follow me to cultivate. I have only one requirement for you, obedience. Do whatever I tell you to do. You cannot ask questions, and certainly cannot argue. Because you are going to walk a path completely different from ordinary people. Yes, Master. My teachers all said I couldn't practice martial arts, but only Master said I could. I will definitely listen to everything Master says. Little Qin Yu's voice was very tender, but his eyes were incredibly firm, showing a maturity beyond his years. Nuolan Shan couldn't help but ask curiously, oh, why do you want to practice martial arts? Because only by practicing martial arts can I help father share his burdens like my eldest and second brothers, little Qin Yu said. Good, then study hard with me. Only then can you help your father. Nuolan Shan affectionately rubbed Qin Yu's little head. Although this child's thoughts were still naive, and his original intention for martial arts was just to gain his father's love, for a child, having the will to practice martial arts made him 100 times stronger than most. From now on, forget your family's inherited cultivation technique. I will teach you a more advanced cultivation technique to speed up your spiritual chi absorption. Master, what is the name of the technique you mentioned? Qin Yu asked. It's called stellar transformations. Nuolan Shan originally wanted to say, 99 mysterious art, but the word suddenly wouldn't come out when they reached his lips. It seemed the system was restricting him. In his helplessness, he had to make up a name on the spot, stellar transformations. The reason Nuolan Shan came up with this name was that he thought of how a universe lord controls a universe, and a universe is composed of countless stars. Thus, the name stellar transformations became extremely fitting. It sounds so powerful. Yu wants to learn. Master, teach me quickly. Qin Yu looked impatient. All right, listen closely. Nuolan Shan was about to directly teach Qin Yu the first layer of the 99 mysterious art, but to his surprise, he found himself unable to speak again. He asked angrily in his mind, System, what's going on? Why are you stopping me from teaching my disciple? However, the system gave no response, which made Nuolan Shan very annoyed. Master, Qin Yu called out to Nuolan Shan. He didn't understand why his master had stopped mid-sentence. Your master thought about it. You are still young, after all, and not suited for such a domineering cultivation technique. Give me some time to organize it, and I'll teach it to you then. In the meantime, just exercise your body. Run 10 laps around the prince's mansion. Don't stop until you've finished them all. Nuolan Shan casually gave Qin Yu a training task. Yes, master. I'll go run the laps right now. Qin Yu was full of energy and immediately ran out of the courtyard to start circling the prince's mansion. Your Highness, please slow down. Your Highness, please take a rest. Your Highness, you're still a child. The servants tried to persuade Qin Yu, but the child was stubborn and remembered Nuolan Shan's words. He wouldn't stop until he finished the 10 laps. However, this was the prince's mansion, the largest residence in Yanjing City. 1 lap was at least 4 kilometers, it would take an adult half an hour to finish. 10 laps meant 5 hours, and that was assuming stamina and energy didn't drop at all. Since Qin Yu was just a child, his stamina was naturally poor, and his legs were short. Forget 5 hours, he might not even finish in 7 or 8. Prince, are we really not going to do anything? His Highness is so small, how can his body handle 10 laps? The old butler said, his heart aching. This is the immortal's test. Yuer must pass this stage, or he won't be worthy of being my, Qinda's, son, Qinda said with a heart of stone. Sigh, Lian Yan sighed deeply and silently went to find a physician to be ready to treat Qin Yu at any moment. Meanwhile, Nuolan Shan was using his psychic power to flip through books while writing down the contents of the 99 mysterious art. At first, Nuolan Shan tried writing on paper, but it didn't work. Then Nuolan Shan switched to parchment, then bamboo slips, then gold foil, universe coins, rare metals, none of them worked. He would write a section, and the paper would turn to dust. He would write another, and it would turn to dust again. This made Nuolan Shan furious. System, get out here. He was truly pissed off. What the hell was going on? Nuolan Shan's original plan was to have Qin Yu practice the 99 mysterious art. With Qin Yu's physique, his progress would surely be lightning fast. Nuolan Shan wouldn't even have to cultivate himself to get the 10,000-fold cashback. Then his gene multiplier would skyrocket. Stepping on universe exalts and punching universe lords wouldn't be a dream. But the damn system wouldn't let him speak it, and it wouldn't let him write it. Screw your ancestors. Out of anger, Nuolan Shan's terrifying killing intent leaked out. Suddenly, everyone in the prince's mansion was so terrified by this aura that they collapsed to the ground, even the innate expert Qinda was no exception. It wasn't cowardice, it was a fear that came from the depths of the soul, born of instinct. Who dares to act wildly in the prince's mansion? A voice rang out across the horizon, and a streak of light flew toward the mansion. A cultivator had arrived. Chapter 71, A Strong Child. Feng Yuzi, with his white hair and youthful face, stood atop a flying sword. He exuded an immortal air, yet his eyes flashed with a fierce light. Though Qinda was but a mortal, he was a man Feng Yuzi had recognized as his brother. Who dared to act so wildly in the prince's mansion? Get down here. Nuolan Shan, still in a fit of rage, reached out with a large hand and directly dragged Feng Yuzi down from the sky. Feng Yuzi actually tried to resist, but he found that he couldn't resist at all, his body could not move even a fraction of an inch. Although he was at the ceiling of power on the Hidden Dragon continent, he was merely at the Golden Core stage. Corresponding to the universe, he was only at the astral rank, weak as an ant before Nuolan Shan. As he was being dragged down, Feng Yuzi knew he was finished. He had kicked a steel plate, this person must at least have the strength of the nascent soul stage. What was going on? Why would a nascent soul-old monster come to this tiny, barren hidden dragon continent? I'm dead for sure. An astral rank, you'll do. Nuolan Shan began to punch and kick Feng Yuzi to vent the fury in his heart. Mortals were too fragile and couldn't take a beating, an astral rank was barely qualified to be a punching bag. Ouch, ouch. Senior, spare my life, senior, spare my life. Feng Yuzi shrieked and wailed. Before long, his face was bruised and swollen, no longer looking human. Please stop, immortal. Qinda hurriedly ran over to intervene. Phew. Having given Feng Yuzi a beating, the fire in Nuolan Shan's heart had subsided by half. He gave Qinda some face and stopped his hand. A misunderstanding, it's a misunderstanding. Immortal, this is Brother Feng Yuzi, a consecrated of my prince's mansion. Brother Feng, this is yours master, Immortal Lei Wei. Qinda helped Feng Yuzi up and then introduced the two. Yours master, how come I didn't know? Feng Yuzi asked in surprise. He just took him as his master today. I haven't had time to inform you yet, Brother Feng, Qinda explained. Since it's a misunderstanding, then leave. Be more careful in the future, I don't like people being above my head. If it weren't for the prince's sake today, I would certainly not have spared you, Nuolan Shan said overbearingly. It was this junior's fault. This junior will leave right away, right away. Feng Yuzi, who had been beaten out of shape, not only had no complaints but left happily as if he had received a great pardon. After they had walked some distance away, Nuolan Shan could still hear Feng Yuzi and Qinda whispering over there. Qinda asked, "Brother Feng, just how strong is that immortal?" "At the very least, he's at the nascent soul stage, and possibly even the void tempering realm. I'm truly lucky to be alive today. Your Qin family has truly encountered a great fortune, a great fortune." Hey, Qinda, are you listening?" Feng Yuzi glared at the already dumbfounded Qinda. Although Qinda was only a martial artist, because of his relationship with Feng Yuzi, he had some understanding of the realms of cultivators. Above innate is golden core, followed by nascent soul, void tempering, and undergoing tribulation. After that is ascension to the upper realm to become an immortal. Lei Wei is at least nascent soul, and very likely void tempering. Heavens! One must know that even on the other side of the ocean, void tempering experts are rarely seen. As long as they could win this person over, never mind some rubbish Chu dynasty, even unifying the hidden dragon continent would be no problem. Someone, come here, scour everything for books on the supernatural, strange tales, and anecdotes. The older and more obscure, the better. Qinda shouted loudly. Brother Qin, why is this? Feng Yuzi didn't understand why Qinda wanted to collect these books. Qinda was a warrior, definitely not a man of letters. It's what the immortal needs. Oh right, Brother Feng, do you have any books like that? Anecdotes about the cultivation world would surely be special, Qinda said. Anecdotes of the cultivation world. Feng Yuzi frowned in thought, then suddenly remembered something and said, I'll head back to my immortal cave for a bit. Feng Yuzi came quickly and left just as fast, disappearing with a whoosh on his sword, not even having time to glance at little Qinyu. Fine, you're making me take it one step at a time, right? Fine, I'll change it. Deleting and simplifying should work, right? Nuolan Shan was still unable to write successfully after many attempts and finally had to compromise helplessly. He had forgotten that even the 9 Tribulations secret scripture was not something ordinary materials could carry, let alone the even more advanced 9 mysterious art. The jade disc that carried it might look unremarkable, but it was an extraordinary object, definitely not something the primordial universe could produce. Subsequently, Nuolan Shan simplified and edited it based on his understanding of the first layer of the 1-9, finally succeeding in writing it onto a piece of rare metal. Looking at that piece of metal, Nuolan Shan finally revealed a smile. It wasn't easy, it really wasn't easy. This time, he finally had something to teach his disciple. Speaking of disciples, where is my dear disciple Qinyu? Nuolan Shan swept his mental power and found that even though it was dark, Qinyu was still running laps under the moonlight. Even though his legs were trembling and he was as slow as a snail, he still persisted without falling, continuing to move forward. The servants behind him kept urging him to stop, but this child had a streak of tenacity and stubbornness, only pushing forward relentlessly. Oh my, this child's willpower is incredible. It's hard to imagine he's only a 6-year-old child. Even Nuolan Shan had to admire Qinyu's willpower, recalling that when he was 6, he was still a little sprout who cried at everything and had no patience. Nuolan Shan didn't call for Qinyu to stop but observed with his mental power to see exactly where little Qinyu's limit was. Even if little Qinyu collapsed from exhaustion, Nuolan Shan could easily save him. He wouldn't even need overly precious spirit medicine, just something like the life essence from Earth's base era would be enough, and only a single drop at that. Keep going, Your Highness. With the bright moon hanging high, the group of servants no longer urged Qinyu to give up, because there were only 10 meters left to complete the 10-lap goal. 10 meters away was the gate of the Zhendong prince's mansion. Qinyu, who should have been exhausted, somehow found a surge of power and burst forth at this moment, sprinting toward the final 10 meters. 10 meters, 9 meters, 8 meters. He arrived. When Qinyu stood at the entrance of the Zhendong prince's mansion, the child smiled happily and shouted loudly, Master. I finished. Your Highness. Qinyu had indeed finished, but at the same time, he collapsed. If not for his powerful willpower supporting him, he would have fallen long ago. The servants rushed forward to support him, and the physicians hurried over, but they only felt a blur before their eyes. When they could see clearly again, Qin Yu, who had been in front of them, was gone. Like a gust of wind, Nuolan Shan carried little Qin Yu onto the bed in the small courtyard. After feeding him a drop of life essence, little Qin Yu fell into a sweet sleep, calling out for both his father and mother in his dreams. He's just a child after all. Nuolan Shan gently stroked little Qin Yu's head. If Duan saw this scene, he would surely roar, "Father, why were you never this gentle with me? You even abandoned the entire family." If that scene really happened, Nuolan Shan would retort, "I'm a damn soul transmigrator who took over. I don't have any feelings for you. You guys even caused trouble for me. It's already merciful that I didn't kill you all." As senior there, Feng Yuzi requests an audience. At this moment, Feng Yuzi's voice came from outside the courtyard. Chapter 72, The Map is the Key. Come in. Nuolan Shan did not keep him outside. With a thought, his mental energy opened the courtyard gate. Feng Yuzi walked in cautiously. Compared to his previous state of being beaten black and blue, he had already restored his transcendent, immortal-like demeanor, likely having consumed some healing medicinal pill. Open black lens bracket. Remember this site's domain name. Reading Taiwan novels is smoothest here. Close black lens bracket. Junior Feng Yuzi pays respects to senior. Seeing Nuolan Shan reading under the moonlight, Feng Yuzi bowed respectfully with great ceremony. "What is it?" Nuolan Shan asked indifferently. "I heard senior is collecting anecdotes and curiosities. Junior has a notebook here from my master. I ask senior to take a look." As Feng Yuzi spoke, he took an ancient-looking notebook out of his storage pouch. With a thought from Nuolan Shan, the notebook floated up and flipped open in the air. All the text appeared in Nuolan Shan's mind almost instantly. The owner of the notebook was named Qingfengxi, who was Feng Yuzi's master and a loose cultivator. The notebook recorded his life and daily cultivation, resembling a diary or miscellany. However, it recorded one event from about 1,000 years ago. Qingfengxi had witnessed a great battle. That battle was earth-shattering, causing the sun and moon to lose their luster. Several big shots of the cultivation world were besieging a strange person. The reason the person was called strange was that the magic treasures and methods they used were completely different from those of the Zixuan realm. They seemed to be fighting over a map. The notebook even contained a rough sketch of what the map looked like. The most prominent feature was a golden leaf symbol. Everyone in the Ganwu universe country knew that the golden leaf was the symbol of the Ganwu dojo. It was then obvious that the map was the so-called key to leaving. The notebook finally mentioned that the besieged person was ultimately defeated and could only throw the map out after splitting it into three. One piece flew toward the hidden dragon continent. Who were the ones besieging that person? Nuolan Shan asked. Feng Yuzi replied, "According to my master, the ones besieging him were Taoist Yan Shu, the Grand Elder of Qingshu Temple, Yida, the Lord of the Purple Flame Demon Prison, Wu Kongshe, the Palace Master of the Yinyu Palace, and Fang Tian, the clan chief of the Dragon Clan." Nuolan Shan nodded slightly and then asked, "Is there any more information regarding this map?" "No more. My master was only a minor cultivator back then. He never achieved a breakthrough to the nascent soul stage in his life, so he couldn't come into contact with people or matters of that level." Feng Yuzi shook his head. You may leave." With a wave of Nuolan Shan's wide sleeve, a jade box appeared before Feng Yuzi. Although Feng Yuzi didn't know what was inside, he knew just by looking at the jade box that it was no ordinary item. "Thank you, senior. Thank you, senior." Feng Yuzi accepted the jade box with immense gratitude and left respectfully. "It seems after I finish teaching Qin Yu, I'll need to make a trip to the major cultivation sects of this world," Nuolan Shan murmured to himself. From Qingfengxi's notebook, Nuolan Shan learned that the Qingshu Temple, Yinyu Palace, Purple Flame Demon Prison, and Dragon Clan that Feng Yuzi just mentioned were all top cultivation forces in the Zixuan realm. On the surface, they had several Void Gazer experts. If one had to find a comparison, they were at the World Lord rank. However, it was clear that while things were like this on the surface, there was certainly hidden strength in the shadows. There might even be a few combatants who could rival an Undying, otherwise, the Zixuan realm wouldn't be a desperate level mission. As for Feng Yuzi, after returning to his room, he hurriedly opened the jade box. Inside was a fruit with a strange, fragrant aroma. As an alchemist, he instantly recognized the value of this fruit. Forget the golden core stage, even nascent soul stage experts would fight tooth and nail for it. With this spirit fruit, I have hope of breaking through to the nascent soul realm. Just what kind of existence is this senior? Could he be a big shot from some major sect? Hope shone brightly in Feng Yuzi's eyes. As a cultivator, the reason he had come to the Hidden Dragon Continent, a place where mortals gathered, to live was because he saw no hope of further progress in the cultivation world. That was why he chose to return to the Hidden Dragon Continent to spend his remaining years in peace. He never expected to find his opportunity, it truly was heaven's blessing. As for Nuolan Shan's identity, he only speculated but would never be stupid enough to investigate. Such a powerhouse could wipe him out with a single thought, he must never be provoked. While Feng Yuzi was thinking about how to use this spirit fruit in medicine, Qinda arrived. "Brother Feng, I heard you went to see Immortal Lei." Qinda asked. "Yes, and I received no small benefit. I have hope of breaking through to the nascent soul stage." Feng Yuzi trusted Qinda implicitly, so he didn't even hide the matter of the spirit fruit. Qinda's eyes instantly lit up as he said joyfully, "Then I must truly congratulate Brother Feng." Feng Yuzi fully supported the Qin family. If he could break through to the nascent soul stage, it would only be beneficial for the Qin family. Ha ha ha. Feng Yuzi also laughed happily. "I just wonder why Immortal Lei gave a reward, and what does he like?" Qinda asked. "I showed Senior this notebook." As Feng Yuzi spoke, he took out the notebook and specifically mentioned the map. Qinda said hopefully, "Brother Feng, do you think if I could find this map, I could trade it for a promise from Immortal Lei?" Feng Yuzi looked at Qinda as if he were looking at a fool. "Do you even hear what you're saying? Could a tiny innate like you find something that even the big shots of the major cultivation sects were fighting over? You're more likely to find death. Why is Brother Feng looking at me like that? Doesn't the notebook say the map was split into 3, and one piece flew toward the Hidden Dragon Continent?" Qinda said. "That was over 1,000 years ago. With the means those figures possess, they surely would have gotten their hands on it long ago. Why would they wait 1,000 years for you to find it?" Feng Yuzi countered. "What if?" Qinda still wouldn't give up. "If you really did find it, judging by that senior's behavior today and combined with the connection through Qin Yu, it wouldn't be hard to trade it for a promise," Feng Yuzi said after thinking for a moment. "That's good then. I'll mobilize the heavenly net to investigate right away." Qinda left happily, as if he had already found the map. "What a stubborn one." Feng Yuzi shook his head with a bitter smile. He absolutely did not believe Qinda could find that map. He continued to study how to use the spirit fruit in medicine. Although he had never seen this kind of spirit fruit before, as an alchemist, he had plenty of ways to analyze the medicinal properties of an unknown ingredient. The next morning, Qin Yu stretched as usual. As his eyes opened and he saw the unfamiliar environment, the memories of last night instantly flooded back. "Where is this? Didn't I pass out from exhaustion last night?" Little Qin Yu blinked his big eyes and murmured to himself. "Awake. Then get up and eat breakfast. After you're done, I will formally begin teaching you how to cultivate." Nuolan Shan's voice rang in Qin Yu's ear. "Yes, master." Qin Yu hurriedly got out of bed and rushed to the courtyard at top speed. At this moment, Nuolan Shan was sitting by a stone table in the courtyard reading a book. A sumptuous breakfast was laid out on the table. The sunlight fell on Nuolan Shan's handsome face, complemented by his scholarly air. Qin Yu only felt that his teacher was divine and noble. So cool. A thought suddenly sprang up in little Qin Yu's mind, he wanted to become a person like his master. "What are you dazing for? Come here quickly." Nuolan Shan beckoned to Qin Yu. "Coming." Qin Yu trotted over. Chapter 73, The First Map. After breakfast, Nuolan Shan officially began to teach Qin Yu the abridged version of the 9-9 mysterious art, now known as stellar transformations. Although the two were not entirely unrecognizable from each other, they were still vastly different. At the very least, the 9-9 mysterious art did not contain any offensive secret techniques, the offensive secret techniques in stellar transformations were all selected from those given to Nuolan Shan by his Universe Exalt masters. Although these secret techniques were disorganized and profound, the content was still relatively simple at this initial stage of absorbing universe energy. Ding. It has been detected that the host has bestowed the stellar transformations cultivation technique upon his disciple, Qin Yu, triggering the 10,000-fold return mechanism. The returned items have been stored in the host's world ring, please check them. The moment Nuolan Shan handed stellar transformations to Qin Yu, the system notification sounded in his mind. Suppressing the urge to check the items, Nuolan Shan began to teach Qin Yu how to cultivate stellar transformations. A normal environment was naturally unsuitable for a bottomless pit like Qin Yu, so Nuolan Shan brought him to a room covered in universe coins. Universe coins were both a currency and a product of concentrated universe energy, universe crystals cut to specific dimensions. Wow, so many spirit stones. Seeing the room full of universe crystals, Qin Yu couldn't help but exclaim. He was, after all, Your Highness of the Prince's mansion and had seen spirit stones from Feng Yuzi before. So universe crystals are called spirit stones in this world, Nuolan Shan thought to himself, then said to Qin Yu, sit on that prayer mat and begin absorbing spiritual qi according to the method in the cultivation technique. Yes, master. Little Qin Yu immediately sat cross-legged on the prayer mat. After reviewing the stellar transformations, cultivation technique in his mind, he began to circulate it. It might not have been visible to the naked eye, but under Nuolan Shan's spirit power observation, the universe energy within the universe crystals was surging into Qin Yu's body at an extremely fast speed, then being distributed to every cell in his body by his wondrous Dantian. As soon as they absorbed the universe energy, the cells throughout Qin Yu's body became incredibly active, constantly reorganizing and transforming, growing frantically like parched earth meeting sweet rain. Ah! The intense pain brought about by the body's transformation flooded Qin Yu's mind, causing the 6-year-old boy to cry out in agony. Endure it, you must endure it. Don't you want to help your father king? Only by becoming stronger can you help him. Nuolan Shan was cold-hearted, even though Qin Yu was in such pain, he was still puaing him. Help father king, I want to help father king. Qin Yu muttered while enduring the pain. Relying on this conviction, he actually managed to pull through, and the pain was no longer as severe. As Qin Yu's body expelled accumulated impurities, his physical fitness also improved at a rate measured in seconds. With a thought, Nuolan Shan used his spirit power to clear away all the filth from Qin Yu's body, leaving him clean and refreshed so he could cultivate without distractions. Once everything was settled, Nuolan Shan finally sent his spirit power into the world ring to see what he had discovered. A jade plate. Nuolan Shan immediately had a guess, and when his spirit power read the contents of the jade plate, it was indeed the subsequent parts of the 9-9 mysterious art, the second and third sets of 9. If he mastered all of these, the increase in his gene multiplier would be ferocious. However, it was still too early to say, as Nuolan Shan had only just completed the first stage of the first set of 9. Nuolan Shan had originally been worried that the 9-9 mysterious art was difficult to practice, but Qin Yu was truly a disciple sent from the heavens, possessing a heaven-defying talent for body refining. Indeed, Qin Yu's cultivation session lasted for an entire month. In just 1 month, Nuolan Shan felt that he had already touched the threshold of the second stage of the first set of 9. Teacher, have I grown taller? Qin Yu asked, looking at his clothes and pants which were now a bit too short. Not only that, don't you feel that your strength has also increased significantly? Nuolan Shan asked. I'll try. Qin Yu looked around. Because Nuolan Shan needed to fill the room with universe crystals, the room was empty of everything except for them. Qin Yu had no choice but to walk out into the courtyard. Seeing a stone table and stone benches, he hurried over and tried to pick up a stone bench. Thud! He lost his footing and fell directly to the ground. It wasn't that the stone bench was too heavy, but rather that it was too light, and the force Qin Yu used was too great, causing him to lose his balance. Normally, it would be absolutely impossible for a 6-year-old child like Qin Yu to lift a heavy stone bench. Master, I. Qin Yu looked at his hands in disbelief. Nuolan Shan raised an eyebrow with a smile and suggested, why not try the stone table? Okay. Qin Yu went to lift the stone table with great enthusiasm. He set himself in a horse stance, gripped it tightly with both hands, and then suddenly exerted force. Huh, it's so easy. Qin Yu held the stone table high above his head and even started spinning in circles in the courtyard, letting out a bell-like laugh. Ha ha ha. Unexpectedly, Qin happened to see this scene and was completely stunned. One must know that the stone table weighed at least 1,000 pounds, being able to lift it alone meant one had stepped into the innate realm. But my son Qin Yu is only 6 years old. A 6-year-old innate, this, and most terrifying of all, just 1 month ago, Qin Yu was only a weak little Your Highness of the prince's mansion who couldn't even lift a chicken. Lei Wei is truly a divine being. Father King, I've become so powerful. I can be your little helper now. Seeing Qin Yu was overjoyed. Good. Qin wept with joy, repeatedly saying, good. Seeing such a heartwarming scene, Nuolan Shan couldn't help but smile as well. No wonder they say a happy childhood can heal a lifetime. All right, Yuer, go change your clothes. I have something to say to the High Immortal, Qin said. Oh, Qin Yu skipped away. Nuolan Shan frowned and asked, why have you come to find me? Regarding the Qin family's plan to rebel, Nuolan Shan had already become aware of it after living in the prince's mansion for a month. If Qin had come to disturb him for such a trivial matter, Nuolan Shan would definitely throw him out. In a small pond that was almost dried up, was it worth fighting for power? It was a complete waste of time. With that effort, one should cross the sea, seek a breakthrough, and pursue transcendence. Brother Feng said the High Immortal is looking for a map. I wonder if it is this one. Qin took out a brocade box. After opening it, a remnant map made of a special material was revealed inside, bearing a gold leaf emblem. Nuolan Shan's eyes immediately lit up, and the remnant map subsequently flew into his hand. Nuolan Shan felt the remnant map while examining it, and also ordered Smart Fu to perform a scan. He could confirm with absolute certainty that this definitely came from the Ganwu secret realm and was the key to leaving the Zixuan realm. Because the patterns on the map depicted a starry sky, specifically, 1/3 of the Ganwu secret realm. People in the Zixuan realm naturally wouldn't recognize it, but those who came to participate in the trial could recognize it at a glance. Good, very good. Nuolan Shan put away the remnant map with great satisfaction. He looked at Qin and said, speak, what is your request? The High Immortal misunderstands. You are Yuer's teacher, and this is but a mere remnant map. How could I possibly make a request of you? Qin said with a smile. Speak quickly, or the offer will expire, Nuolan Shan said impatiently. These political types were truly dawdling. Nuolan Shan had no time to waste chatting with them. If we are talking about a request, no, a petition, there truly is one thing, but this humble king finds it difficult to mention, for fear of offending the High Immortal's ears, Qin said awkwardly. Nuolan Shan's brow furrowed in displeasure. All this blathering, just say it already. Chapter 74, Qin's request. Speak. Nuolan Shan said majestically. Yes, Qin said hurriedly, I want to request the Immortal to protect my Qin family bloodline in times of crisis. Truth be told, Qin's request surprised Nuolan Shan. He originally thought Qin would ask for help in unifying the Hidden Dragon continent, but he only wanted to protect the Qin family bloodline. Qin Yu was his precious disciple. Even if Qin didn't say it, Nuolan Shan would protect him, as Qin Yu was unique. Open black lens bracket. At this point, I hope readers remember our domain wkan.com for your choice, close black lens bracket. Not just because he was currently the only first-class genius, but also because he was a body-refining genius. Why not ask me to help you unify the Hidden Dragon continent? Nuolan Shan asked the doubt in his heart. That would naturally be best, but the Immortal is a person of the heavens, so how could you stay in such a lowly place? If my Qin family cannot unify the Hidden Dragon continent with our own strength, even if we did so through the Immortal's divine abilities, the position of Emperor would not last long once the Immortal leaves. In that case, it is better to ask the Immortal to protect my Qin family bloodline, perhaps we can make a comeback in the future. Chinda spoke candidly. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he didn't dare expect Nuolan Shan to stay long-term. You were indeed honest. Fine, I accept your request. Also, take these potions, they can improve one's aptitude and will be a help to your Qin family. Nuolan Shan felt this small request was not at all worth the value of the remnant map, so he gave out another 10 bloodline evolution potions. Nuolan Shan had originally prepared them for his disciple, but they weren't needed for now, so he used them to compensate Chinda's loss. He figured Chinda must have paid a heavy price to obtain this remnant map. Nuolan Shan had already seen that Chinda was injured, his whole body emitting a medicinal smell. Thank you, immortal. Chinda excitedly took the bloodline evolution potions. He really hadn't expected Nuolan Shan to be so generous as to bestow such heaven-defying spirit medicine. In his view, aptitude was innate, you either had it or you didn't. These potions were no different from changing one's fate against the heavens. Help me find the remaining 2 maps as well, I will surely reward you handsomely then, Nuolan Shan said. Yes, this humble king will definitely search with all my might, Chinda guaranteed. Actually, Nuolan Shan didn't even need to urge him. Having received such great benefits, Chinda would surely do his utmost to search for the remaining 2 maps. However, this was ultimately in vain because the remaining 2 maps were not on the Hidden Dragon continent at all. Although Chinda's net of Heaven Intelligence Agency was powerful, it was limited to the Hidden Dragon continent and had not penetrated beyond the sea. After Chinda left, Nuolan Shan took out the remnant map to study it carefully. Through Ah Fu, he confirmed it was a technological product that could be connected. Its operating principle was actually quite simple. Once an intelligent connection was made, the hidden teleportation array inside could be activated, and then the trial taker would be teleported out. Note that only an intelligence could activate this teleportation array, which eliminated the possibility of people from the Zishuan realm using this method to smuggle themselves out. Those in the Zishuan realm who wanted to leave this world had to undergo tribulation, it was their only chance for transcendence. And the so-called undergoing tribulation was actually a restriction set by the Gamu country lord to screen talents. The Gamu secret realm only needed cultivators who could successfully undergo tribulation, the rest were just raised like piglets. Ah Fu, try to connect, Nuolan Shan ordered. Yes, master. Connection successful, preparing to start. 5, 4, 3, 2. Program missing, startup. Failed, Ah Fu prompted repeatedly. As expected, it's not that simple. Nuolan Shan also knew it was impossible to complete the trial mission so easily, as there were 3 maps in total, and he only had 1 in his hand. What Nuolan Shan didn't know was that once Ah Fu connected to this map, the other 2 maps suddenly sensed it and began to glow. The owners of the other 2 maps, the Dragon Clan and the old ancestor of the Qingshu Temple, were both alarmed. This was because a saying circulated among these top cultivation forces, he who obtains the heaven-reaching map can ascend. It was a direct ascension without having to undergo the dangerous lightning tribulation, so the people in the Zishuan realm named this map the heaven-reaching map. How could they know? Although there were seniors of the Zishuan realm who had left the Zishuan realm by controlling trial takers and using the heaven-reaching map, they were instantly killed by the Undying guarding this realm the moment they left. This kind of crooked advancement method actually didn't work at all, one needed to undergo tribulation fair and square. But then again, if they were confident in successfully undergoing tribulation, why would they covet the heaven-reaching map? For the sake of that immortal ascension, they would try any method. It's appeared, the person from the upper realm has appeared. He has obtained the remnant map we intentionally left on the Hidden Dragon continent years ago. The Dragon Clan chief said excitedly, "Come, assemble the generals, follow me to the Hidden Dragon continent." The old ancestor of the Qingshu Temple was equally excited and ordered, "All experts in the temple, follow me to the Hidden Dragon continent, the fish has taken the bait." Yes, Nuolan Shan was the big fish they had been angling for a whole 1,000 years, and the bait was that remnant map. These cultivation big shots were very smart, knowing that even if they got the heaven-reaching map, they couldn't use it. They could only wait for someone from the upper realm to descend. But they were also afraid the person from the upper realm wouldn't know where the map was, or wouldn't dare to snatch it, so they directly left one map on the Hidden Dragon continent. After all, the Hidden Dragon continent was basically full of mortals and was the safest place. They put themselves in his shoes. If they were someone from the upper realm descending to the lower realm, they would surely enter the Hidden Dragon continent first to gather information. As long as they had some means, it wouldn't be hard to find the remnant map hidden on the Hidden Dragon continent. As soon as the person from the upper realm tried to connect, the other two maps would sense it. Such a plan could be called perfect, and they had arranged it for 1,000 years. Today, they finally saw the dawn. After all, even for a school's old ancestor, life is limited. 1,000 years is an extremely long time even for them. Such a large movement from the Dragon Clan and the Qingshu Temple naturally couldn't be hidden from the spies planted by the Purple Flame Demon Prison and the Yinyu Palace. The two major forces also secretly assembled their generals to follow behind, preparing to be the Oriole behind the Mantis. Nuolan Shan naturally didn't know at this time that he would be besieged by a group of World Lord rank combatants. He was just in the prince's mansion reading books while teaching Qin Yu, and incidentally cultivating the 9-9 mysterious art. He calculated that in less than a year, he would be able to master the second level of the first cycle. This was truly thanks to Qin Yu, who had multiplied Nuolan Shan's talent in body refining several times over, allowing him to progress so quickly. My dear disciple, cultivate hard. Master is still waiting for you to succeed in your cultivation to repay me. Your current progress won't do. Don't wait until I've perished and you still haven't grown up. Nuolan Shan began to poo a little Qin Yu again. Yes, Master, I will definitely work hard. I will risk my life for you. But alas, Qin Yu fell for it. Even though it was extremely painful, he still gritted his teeth and persevered, just for the sake of the protection in his heart and to prove that he was not a waste. Chapter 75, Incoming Powerhouses. Beep beep beep. Alarm. Alarm. A large number of cultivators detected heading towards Hidden Dragon continent. On this day, Nuolan Shan was teaching Qin Yu as usual when the AI, Afu, suddenly let out a piercing alarm. With Nuolan Shan's current status, he naturally poured resources into upgrading Afu. The detector alone was something only a champion undying could afford. Thus, it could detect cultivators heading for Hidden Dragon continent even earlier than Nuolan Shan could. Where are they now? Nuolan Shan asked. At sea, Afu replied. Report specific combat strength and numbers. 12 world lords and 120 domain lords, belonging to 4 different factions. Good, it saves me the trouble of finding them. If any other genius coming for the trial had learned of this, they would have fled immediately, but Nuolan Shan wasn't afraid at all, for he was a disciple of the Ganwu country lord. Nuolan Shan didn't even need to guess to know that such a massive force was definitely after the map, or rather, after the trial participants. Qin Yu, I have something to attend to. Go find Feng Yuzi. Keep the jade pendant I gave you on your person at all times. After giving these instructions, Nuolan Shan soared into the sky and flew toward the sea. Master. Qin Yu had a faint, ominous feeling, as if he were about to lose his master. He wanted to follow, but he couldn't keep up. He tightly gripped the protective jade pendant Nuolan Shan had given him and ran to find Feng Yuzi. Though Feng Yuzi was weak, he was the only cultivator in the manor and the strongest combatant besides Nuolan Shan. The two major factions, Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan, suddenly stopped when they were still 100 miles from the mainland. They hadn't come together, rather, they had encountered each other by chance at sea. The righteous path of the human race and the sovereigns of the monster race had always been mortal enemies. Now, having mobilized simultaneously for the heaven-reaching map, they were undeniably competitors. The two parties, having clashed, were now in a tense standoff on the sea, their glares practically sparking with intensity. Taoist Yan Shu, the Grand Elder of Qingshu Temple, said, Old Loach, I didn't expect you to react so quickly. The Dragon Emperor of the Dragon Clan said, Old Geezer, want to have a go? I'm not afraid of you, the sea is my home turf. Fine, I'll kill you first to keep you from interfering later. Bring it on. Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan began to fight, the sounds of their battle so thunderous that even the mortals on Hidden Dragon Continent could see the commotion. What's going on? Nuolan Shan had originally intended to go on a rampage, but halfway there, he saw them fighting. Afu was transmitting the battle video in real time. Master, it's likely a dispute over the spoils, and now they're at each other's throats, Afu analyzed. No, it's not that simple. Keep monitoring, let's observe a bit longer. Nuolan Shan watched the video, feeling that something was off, and chose a random small island to wait and see. The thunderous battle lasted for an entire day. Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan had both suffered heavy losses and were on the verge of collapse. Seeing this, Purple Flame Demon Prison and Yinyu Palace tacitly chose to cooperate. They would first eliminate these two rivals and then compete for the target based on their own abilities. 1,000 years ago, they had also fought over someone, and Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan had come out on top. Today, the situation was about to be reversed. Master, the two hidden factions have made their move, Afu reported. When the snipe and the clam fight, the fisherman wins. Fine, let them fight among themselves, it makes things easier for me. Nuolan Shan raised an eyebrow, pleased to see this unfold. After all, they were all enemies, and it would be best if they all died. Ha ha ha, old geezer, old loach, you finally have your day. The tables have truly turned, it's our turn now. Yida, the prison lord of Purple Flame Demon Prison, and Empress Lianyu, the palace mistress of Yinyu Palace, made an arrogant appearance. The members of Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan cried out in terror, when did you get here? The Dragon Emperor said angrily, taking advantage of others in their time of peril, what kind of heroes are you? Yida laughed loudly, ha ha ha, heroes. When did we ever claim to be heroes? You've always called us wicked heretics. Exactly. Have not enough of my sect's disciples died at your hands? Lianyu echoed. Today, we settle all scores, old and new. Kill them. The cultivators of Purple Flame Demon Prison and Yinyu Palace charged at the Qingshu Temple and Dragon Clan group, but the latter, who should have been terrified and fleeing, unexpectedly broke into smiles. Not good, it's a trap. Retreat. Yida sensed something and ordered his men to pull back. Want to leave? Too late. Activate the formation. Taoist Yanshu chuckled, his hands forming a seal. Suddenly, a hidden grand formation appeared, enveloping everyone from Purple Flame Demon Prison and Yinyu Palace. Looking back at the cultivators from Qingshu Temple and the Dragon Clan, they no longer appeared heavily wounded or exhausted, instead, they were all ready-faced and full of vigor. Oh, I was wondering why they fought for so long without a single casualty. It was to lure the enemy in. They must have been quietly setting up the formation while they were fighting. It seems they are smarter than I imagined. Seeing this through Afu, Nuolan Shan became more vigilant. He couldn't look down on them just because they were natives of the Zishuan realm, they simply hadn't had the chance to see the vast universe. The 9-9 Heavenly Thunder Formation. Good, very good. Qingshu Temple, Dragon Clan, I didn't expect the two of you to collude and plot against us. Yida immediately recognized. It is the signature formation of Qingshu Temple, created to mimic the Ascension Heavenly Tribulation, with power no less than the real thing. Taoist Yanshu said coldly, the feeling is mutual. The Dragon Emperor said smugly, you have spies among us, did you think we wouldn't have them among you? If we didn't eliminate you two first, were we supposed to wait for you to play the Oriole behind the mantis? Taoist Yanshu laughed. When did you two start colluding? Empress Lianyu asked resentfully. Colluding is such an ugly word, let's call it cooperation. The moment we set out, we both sent messages via flying swords. As the saying goes, the one who knows you best is always your rival. So your deaths will not be in vain. Go in peace. As soon as he finished speaking, the formation activated at full power. The group from Purple Flame Demon Prison and Yinyu Palace felt as if they were in a lightning purgatory, being relentlessly struck by heavenly thunder. Hold on. Even using their trump card immortal artifacts, they couldn't withstand the might of this lightning tribulation. They could only huddle in a corner of the formation, constantly using their subordinates' lives to block the lightning, a truly miserable sight. This was inevitable. If they could withstand it, they would have already passed their ascension heavenly tribulation and wouldn't be cooped up in this tiny Zishuan realm, let alone trying to snatch someone. Old Loach, as agreed, the demon break blade of purple flame demon prison goes to you, and the purple dawn sword of Yinyu palace goes to me, Taoist Yanshu said. Of course, but they aren't dead yet. It's a bit early to start dividing the spoils. Let me lend you a hand. After saying this, the Dragon Emperor opened his mouth and spat out a glittering golden dragon pearl. The dragon pearl flew above the formation, and suddenly, a force capable of freezing space descended, rendering those from Purple Flame Demon Prison and Yinyu Palace unable to move for a single breath. Boom. And that single breath was enough for the heavenly thunder to blast them into ashes. Taoist Yanshu's expression grew solemn. Old Loach, I didn't expect your cultivation to have progressed even further. You've actually touched upon the law of space. You flatter me. It's just average, only able to freeze them for a single breath. Though the Dragon Emperor's words were modest, his face was full of pride. The Dragon Emperor had originally specialized in the law of gold, but not long ago, he had touched upon the even more profound law of space. He was confident that his strength now surpassed that of Taoist Yanshu from Qingshu Temple. A single breath was enough for someone of his speed to kill. Hey! A sharp light flashed in Taoist Yanshu's eyes as he ordered, clean up the battlefield. It's time for the real business. Are you looking for me? No need, I've already arrived. Nuolan Shan no longer hid and appeared openly before them. The current comparison of strength was Nuolan Shan at Universe Level 9 versus 6 World Lords and 60 Domain Lords. Among them, Taoist Yanshu and the Dragon Emperor were at the 9th level of the World Lord rank.